Hello and welcome, you guys. Tonight is my first episode back. This is episode 1. Very happy to be back, y'all. I took a long break, but we are going to be coming back. All right, I've got everybody watching on Instagram. Make sure the 5 of you come over to YouTube. YouTube is where it's happening. You can see all my beautiful guests there. So head on over. And if anybody stays, comment, head over to YouTube so everyone knows to come over there. Let me shout you out. Shout out to Blockchain Beeman. He is the first to join. Shout out to you in the comments. Clemmy baby, she said, well, I'm second. Yes, girl. Nice to have you. We've got, let's see, Candace in the house. She said, I'm fourth to Yonci. We'll count you as third. Okay, I don't count. And I love that. Clemmy says, greetings from London. Ooh, you made it across the pond. Good to see you. Shout out to Vanessa. Shout out to Ash. Yes, you said you were pulling up. Hey, thank you, Shantae, for the hair compliment. All right, did I miss it? Oh, Nia. Nia, nice to see you. And Shelby, beautiful Mystique, nice to have you. Y'all, we got a bunch of people in the guest room, the green room rather, and they are going to be joining us. Very happy to have a panel of guests going to be coming out. Let me explain the new format, okay? And things might change based on what you guys say you like and what you want. But what we're going to be doing is each week, we're going to be having the YouTube show cover the questions that the men answered last week on Yoncer Nation. Comment me if you know about Yoncer Nation. Comment, huh? If you don't know about Yoncer Nation, okay? Yoncer Nation is my men's page that came about by kind of accident. It was because the women wouldn't stop accidentally voting in the polls on my page. And so I said, you know what? After having a temper tantrum, I decided to make my own page for men, just exclusive for them. And it's been awesome because they can share the tea a lot more. They don't have to have any fear about people coming and attacking them or what have you. So they have been speaking very candidly, and I've been all in their business. I love it. There are only me so far. There's no, huh? So that's good. Okay. And so we are going to be unpacking some really juicy questions, like some that I'm kind of like, I don't know if I want to ask, talk about this live, but we're going to do it. Okay. So those of you watching on Instagram, come over to YouTube. Should we bring in our guests? Should we bring in our people? Okay. Let me go ahead and add Jess to the stage. Hey, Jess.
Hello.
Hi. I'm so happy, y'all, that I am able to now have StreamYard. I had somebody sponsor my StreamYard, and so no more ghetto Zoom. We love Zoom, but it is ghetto trying to do it myself on YouTube. So welcome to my non-ghetto version of my YouTube.
I see you stepping things up, doing things big.
Hey! Putting it into the atmosphere, and everything is happening. Next, we have, I got to get a real, the little soundbar thing. We got Lynette coming in. I got to get a real drum roll. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, Jess.
Hello. It's so good seeing you again.
Yes, good to see you.
How are you guys coordinated with the show graphics? Like, you guys look so cute. I love it. Thank you for coming on, ladies. Oh, and I love it. She said Bronx, New York. That's right, girl. Represent. I think she's still mad about the South winning. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. And last but not least, we are bringing Real Dope Daddy to the stage. I don't know if I'm allowed to use his government name, so I will call you Real Dope Daddy if you would like to be referred to as such. I be always saying your government name, so I apologize if I wasn't supposed to. Y'all, I'm going to play around with these graphics, okay? I think we're going to go like this so we can see the question at the bottom. How are you guys doing?
Great.
Good. Excited to be here.
I'm happy.
Great. Nosy. I want to know it.
I love it. I love it. Y'all, we got 7 people still watching on Instagram. Y'all, you're missing the entire show. There's a whole show with graphics and beautiful people. Go to my YouTube. I promise the water is warm over there. Okay. All right. So anybody who is watching right now on YouTube, if you want to come in and join the panel, everything is posted on my Patreon page. The link is there to join me through StreamYard. So feel free to come over. But we're going to dive right in, okay? I had the first question that just happened to be the first question that was posted on a Monday. And I chickened out, you guys. I moved it to question number 2 because I was like, we can't come in spicy on the very first episode. Before we jump into the first topic, I will say thank you to everyone who is a part of my Patreon community. I literally could not do this without you. And so your support is everything. And I do my best to try to give you as much juicy content as possible. Those of you who are on the $5 level, you get to see all the answers that the men give on Yonci Nation Monday through Friday. And those who are on the $10 and up level, you guys get to be a part of the community where we post our workout brags. We post pictures of ourselves. We got a birthday shout out. I mean, we got a ton of stuff. We got events coming up in the whole 9. So if you're sleeping on Patreon, wake up, stay woke, okay? Because we having fun over there. We turning up. All right, so we are going to get into the first question. Y'all, I'm so excited we don't have any ghetto graphics anymore. I get to just put this. Oh, and before I forget, y'all, I'm sorry. Comment your city and state, please. Comment your city and state so I can shout you out. We did a little, what were we on? Was it, Zoom Mingle. So Zoom Mingle, I asked everybody to represent if, excuse me, if they, I was trying to see how to move. Oh, there we go. Okay. I was like, I don't want to kick someone. I was trying to remove him since he was on camera. We did a little contest to see who was representing and who all showed up. And so the South did win, even though I was trying to claim West Side, but they said, no, you're in Dallas now. You got to claim it. What was the city that we discovered was part of the South that we did not think was a Delaware?
The DMV, Delaware. Yes.
We were like, who?
Conversation about the 302. Yeah.
Yeah. So according to Wikipedia or whatever it was, the census, yeah, that's considered the South. So super weird. All right. So we're going to get into the first question. Okay. All right. So I get to put it up now. Okay. The first question that we asked, besides coming straight out and saying, I think you're handsome, how could a woman let you know that she is interested on social media? You guys, I see my typo with the grammar, the punctuation. So please forgive me, y'all. This is going to bug me, but just so you know, I do know how to write. It just doesn't look like it here. All right. So we're going to get into some of the questions, some of the answers that the guys gave on the men's page. And also, guys in the chat, you guys can answer from yourself. Really quick, we're going to shout out. And ladies, can you guys see the comments as well? You guys can see the comments, right?
I think so.
So yeah. Go ahead and shout out the ones that catch your eye. We're going to do a couple. I'm going to do like 5. You guys can do a couple. I see San Antonio, Texas. Oh, Lord, Maryland. I don't even know what to say. Is it Suitland? Sweetland? Suitland? I'm going to go Suitland. We got Brooklyn in the house. Atlanta, Dallas. Hey. Another Atlanta, Dallas, St. Louis, Southern Cali, and West Side, and Fort Lauderdale. Okay, that's all the shout outs we're going to do. Let's get into this. How should a woman let you know that she is interested besides coming straight out and saying it? Do you remember, ladies, any of the answers that you guys were surprised by before I read a couple of these?
No. Some of the answers we already, yeah.
Okay. All right. So one guy says, put themselves in my way and eye contact. That means that he didn't read that it said it's it's supposed to be social media only. Let's see. Someone else said that's really it, meaning just say that you find him attractive. Ladies, would you jump on a man's page or slide in his DM and just be like, hey, I find you attractive?
Yes, I have done that. That's how I found out about you.
You said what?
Me jumping in somebody's DM is how I found out about you.
Oh, do tell the story.
Me and him, but he told me about your page.
Oh, I love that.
It wasn't an issue.
Okay. I like that. In the comments, let me know. Would y'all jump up and say, hey, guy, ask if we're single. Someone else said. I would not say I find you attractive, but I will say hello. Okay. A compliment on my appearance is a clue that you have been taking note of me. Someone else said, spark up a conversation, show interest. That's always a green light to me. To be honest, that's really it, meaning just say you find them attractive. We're simple. We like to be direct. Hints can be misconstrued or not even recognized. Just let us know you're interested and we'll take it from there if we're mutually interested. Hey, guys, there are 4 of you watching here. Please jump over to YouTube. Just type in Chasing Yonci and the live will come up. There are beautiful women on the screen. And I can't comment if he's handsome or not because I'm blind. I'm in a relationship, so I can't see if men are handsome or not anymore. But you guys, if you're ladies, you can come see see for yourself.
He's cute.
What's that?
He's cute.
Okay, there you have it. The lady said he's cute. Okay. Someone else said, ask what I do during my time of leisure. Someone said, respond or reply. You could like a few pictures. Someone else said, and that would be fine. If we find you attractive, we will lead and take it from there. Easy, right? Now, I would say if you do all this and you kind of show yourself and reveal yourself, and a guy doesn't DM you, I would say it's probably safe to say he's not going to.
Right.
It's the same, right? There are guys who are like, oh, the women just don't respond in my DMs. And I'm like, they probably just aren't feeling you. It's
You're
probably
not that interested.
right.
Yeah.
Have you guys have DMs that you totally saw, but you're just like, I'm gonna leave it on the request?
Yeah.
If the guy's starting the DM, I'm always wondering, is this spam? Is this real? Is he interested?
Yeah.
Is this like a business thing? Like what's the vibe? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
So like if I'm not responding, either I'm not interested or your message just wasn't clear. It felt kind of spammy.
And you know when guys are like, hi, I hate that. I'm like, get to the point, because if I don't find you attractive, well, this is when I was single. If I don't find you attractive, I don't want to do the dance. Like, hey, how's it going? Da-da-da. Like, let's just get to it. I'd rather a guy be like, hey, I saw you. I thought you were attractive. I like to get to know you. What have you? So then I could say, I'm not interested in going that route. Or I could say, well, hello, sir. Which actually happened like one time in the history of social media. I actually was interested in someone who slid in my DM. So it does happen sometimes. Lynette, any thoughts? Would you slide in a DM or boldly comment on his page? Hey, I think you're cute.
No, I think most of the time I always put like, or I say something under it, something funny like, oh, what you know about that? Oh, things like that.
Okay.
That's how I attempt to do it. But most of the time somebody will request you as a friend. So I guess that they might be interested if they're requesting you as a friend and your page is private.
And we had that whole debate about the private page.
Yes.
We need to get into that. Sir, would you like to weigh in?
I don't like women approaching me. So yeah, I don't like women approaching me. So you would literally have to just put yourself in my way, Don't tell me you're interested. Hold on one second.
And I will say this, I know how long you're
Yeah.
going.
Don't tell me you're interested. But just show me that you're here and I'll do the rest. Kind of just have open energy. Like if you were in a coffee shop and a girl just kind of like, hey, have you ever tried that before? Right? Just have open energy. Let me know that you're not a mean girl or something like that. And that's all.
What's
I love
open
that.
energy on social media? Yeah.
If you comment on any of my stories, if I post something and you just ask me about it or anything like that, that's open energy. Like when kind of girls think like that men, if you are nice to a man, it's like he thinks you like him or he thinks you're available. Most men, even just a normal man, if you are nice to him, he'll think, okay, at some point I got to shoot my shot because I have an opportunity. So.
And that's why it's so important that we watch our interactions with other men. I was just talking to a friend today, and he was saying how it's a red flag for him when a single woman does certain things with a man, with her guy friends, because a lot of times as women, we don't understand the mindset of men, or as much as they tell us, like he just did. By the way, I didn't hear back. Do you want to be called your Instagram name or your government name? Which do you prefer?
You can call me what you want to call me. I just got that just in case anybody wanted to go on.
Okay, I wasn't trying to blast anybody. Okay, but you guys can tell us as much as you want, but sometimes the women just won't receive it. But smiling, if you're attractive, especially with smiling at a guy, making that prolonged eye contact, and making conversation, finding a way to interact with him, absolutely puts you on his radar, and you have to work extra hard to shut that down, if you're not interested. So it's to our advantage when we are trying to get a guy, because it's very minimal work, but it also means that we have to make sure we really minimize contact. And it might sound caveman-ish, But the thing is that it doesn't have to make sense to you. You just have to understand it. And I bet you there are a billion things that we do as women, or we prefer from our partners as women, that they don't anywhere near understand, but they're like, I just need to get it, as far as understand and do it, rather. Not understand it, but just do it. Okay, so I'm going to read it, just a couple of more. Someone else said that's the best way, being direct. Anything else would just seem like giving hints. Honestly, that's good enough. Another guy said, we're simple about the most common complaint men have about women is that they don't say what they mean. So say what you mean. And I will add this too. There is a lot of confusion today with some men because of, I will say, the Me Too movement, and a lot of women being very vocal about not wanting the male gaze. I'm so triggered by that phrase, by the way. The male gaze and, unsolicited advances. And so the more that you can do to show, like he was saying, open energy, asking an open-ended question is an example of that, the more it is letting the guy know, okay, there's permission to kind of enter into this space. Because it could be intimidating. For some, not all intimidating. Okay. Let's see. Doesn't matter. We understand when there isn't adequate interest, adult to adult. I advise against ghosting. Okay. I think he answered on the wrong post. Men are suspicious of women making the first move because women always have a hidden agenda. Oh,
That's not true.
Someone's toxicity is showing.
Right.
Either they want a free drink or some benefit from the guy. Wow.
Not at this point. Like,
Right.
Oh,
this is a hello. I saw a picture.
I'm hungry. Let me find a guy on Instagram. You owe me hungry for a long time. The
right.
women that do shoot their shot do so with guys above their dating market value. Wow. Show me you're unhealed without saying you're unhealed. If a woman is not being approached by men, she's unapproachable, and she needs to develop her skills with shy, awkward men first. Oh, my. Okay, 2 more. She should comment on a hobby or something that you have in your pictures. And last one, a comment or DM with exactly those words is good enough. Okay, simple and direct. All right. Hey, guys, those of you who came, come on over to YouTube. The water is warm. There are beautiful women on the screen. Single ladies? Okay, single ladies. So come on YouTube and say hi when you come over there, okay? Any other thoughts? Let's see. She said, I was just about to say, just say hi. Okay. That's too forward and too masculine. Okay. Very interesting. And I found that when a guy wants, oh yes, I will get to you 1 second. When a guy prefers a woman to do a whole lot, I tend to side with Lamont. I feel like I'm in my masculine, and I feel like I'm doing too much, and it just feels weird. And so I know that it's, of course it's easier. I feel like it's like a guy who's hunting for deer, and the deer goes, hi, and he has a big old target on his chest. Like, yes, of course that's easier, but does it affect the chemistry and all that moving forward? What were you going to say, Jess?
Oh, I was going to say, I think it's, if there's an internet equivalent of dropping the handkerchief, that's what we should be doing. So
Yeah.
I think it's okay to send the first message, but not being too overt, too aggressive, just opening the door, letting the person know that you're there, being flirtatious, and seeing what happens afterwards. Being funny also.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. That's what I do. I'll just comment on something that was posted, like the guy that I mentioned that I found Yonci on. It was me. They went to a museum that I had recently went to, and I was like, oh, how did you like it? And that's how it went. So I do stuff like that. I don't just say, oh, you're handsome, because I don't want to set myself up.
I think you're so fine.
Yeah, I don't want to do that, because I just feel like with women, when men do that, I'm like, I'm not interested. But yeah, I just, subtle conversation, see if he takes it. If he doesn't, then I move on. But
I love it. I love it. Okay, guys. So this was the question I was scared to post. But now we're like 20 minutes in. Okay, so we grown now, right? We all grown. Hide your kids.
Let's do it.
Okay, anyone under 18, get off of YouTube right now. Hide your kids. Hide your babies. Whoo! Okay, this is a question that had to be asked, so I asked it. Okay.
I remember that question.
All right. That was funny, Lamont. All right. So we are going to get into this, and then I'm just going to open up the questions. Poor guy. He's like the only one on here right now. We have another one who is coming. Oh, of course. This is the one I did not link. Hang on, guys. Let me just look really quickly. The main thing that they said, which I was shocked about, the fact that it even had to be said. They said bad is, I feel like I need to come up with a different word for the H word right now, just because I feel very prudish. We'll just say bad includes teeth. And I was like, why is that even going to be said? Like, who's getting in there? Like, what is happening?
They was like, don't nick it. Don't nick.
Well, some men want very inexperienced virgins, and they would do that.
Yes.
So if they're not experienced, they're gonna do inexperienced stuff.
I'm just wondering, is it intentional? Like, is there any woman, not that she's gonna admit it on here, but like, is there any woman who is going, he's gonna love this, or is it just not knowing how?
I don't think that's how it happens.
They might don't. They don't have friends and nobody to tell them what to do.
So that's not how it happens. So
okay, please tell me.
Everybody's mouth is a different size, right? So women who have smaller mouths, typically after a few minutes, it's like, anybody with kids, if you're brushing their teeth, you got to keep telling them, hey, like open wide, okay? Like with your kids, because they start to their mouth gets tired, right? So if that is happening with an adult woman, then like after a few minutes, she just starts to kind of mouth just might a few centimeters closed more, and you gotta kind of, you don't want to have to tell them, hey, open your mouth more, or nothing like that. Okay, so it's kind of awkward.
Not to be graphic, are we talking back teeth?
Back.
Mostly, okay, because I was trying to visualize, like, okay.
Any type of tooth, once it touches at all, is just discomfort. Oh, even if it's so small that she doesn't even know yet, it makes everything uncomfortable.
Wow.
So,
but isn't it up to the guy to let her know? Like you supposed to say, excuse you. I mean, there's ways to say,
Yeah. No, so you
yeah, like hello.
You can. So depending on who it is, like let's say it's your girlfriend or somebody you care about, you want sex to be enjoyable for them too. So you want them to also always feel like you're enjoying it. I'm sure girls sometimes fake it, and it might take you a second to kind of say, okay, you should stay right here, right? You might not want to do that immediately. You might just kind of want to give them an opportunity to kind of, because you want to feel like you're into it. You want him to think you're into it. So it's the same thing.
There's a lot of ego and pride in that.
Yeah. And that could be awkward in the moment, not want to take someone out of the moment. But I would say maybe afterwards, maybe bring it up. I'm thinking, like I would be mortified to know that I was doing, especially if I was doing it repeatedly to my partner. So, maybe people, men and women, could say after the fact, hey, would you ever want to know if there was something I didn't care for? Kind of like opening up the door.
Nope.
And then if they say, you said no, you wouldn't want to know?
No, I don't want to tell you after it's done.
Oh, you would say it in the moment.
At the moment, like obviously, I'm pushing your head out the way, like I'm good. Like, yeah, what's wrong with being honest? I mean, come on, man. We're not.
Well, they would let you know, wouldn't they?
A female, we will let them know.
Oh, that you okay? You can stop.
Yeah, no, we'll if it, because it's painful. So you'll let somebody know.
Yeah.
You just don't want to have to. It's like one of those things where you feel like it's common sense, even if it's not. So
maybe you can do like
Don't do that. She'll be traumatized. She's not gonna want to do nothing after that.
Not if her prior partners never told her she was doing it wrong. Just like a man, if your prior partners didn't say, okay, you're not doing this correctly, she's gonna think, or he's gonna think, they the best thing popping until they meet that certain guy or woman that they really, really like. And then they be like, listen, they say a couple of words.
Agreed. However, men have different girths, they have different lengths, men like different things. So I think it's going to also be personal. Not the teeth thing, but like
no one wants teeth.
in terms of like feedback, it's going to be individual to that person. So I think regardless of when the communication happens, it's got to happen, especially if this is a person you're going to be with again in the future. You want each time to build and be more pleasurable. So you're only going to do that with that knowledge base.
If they get it next time.
Okay, facts.
Because listen, men do that. If it ain't right, you're not gonna get it next time.
No, that's true. That is true.
I mean,
there was a post that I did about certain reasons why men don't follow up, and a lot of them said that was not a good intimate experience. And I think that is a lot of pressure, especially if like you think about intimacy, that is the most intimate thing with somebody. And sometimes I would imagine it would take time to develop that comfortability, especially if she's a woman who is not out here, just for everybody. So it's I'm going to preach a little bit on this and get on my soapbox, but this is the part that frustrates me, where it's like they want their cake and eat it too. And I'm talking about men, where it's like you want this good girl who has not had a ton of experience with other men, but you want her to be a good time. And so I wonder, if it's different, and guys, you can answer this, if you already know you're feeling her before. So I'm going to paint this scenario. Let's say you're feeling her, you like what's in between her ears, and you guys have been getting to know each other. You have your first encounter, and it's just not a good experience. What are you giving it more chances if you actually like the girl? I'm gonna ask you like a two-part question. So are you giving it more chances if you like the girl? And two, are there just certain things that you're like, there's no coming back? Welcome to the stage, Willie. Nice to have you, CEO.
Oh, here come trouble. Come on, Willie. You can ride on this one. Come on now. We gotta warm you up.
First of all, why I'm not trouble. And second of all, thank you, Yonci, for such a warm welcome. I don't know what these other people talk about, but I really appreciate how welcome you make me feel.
Must be the other Willie.
Yeah, every time I come on the platform, I'm very, 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 very thankful to be here, and it's nice to see you, judgmental people.
One person.
She says, let's be clear.
Yeah, everybody's laughing, so everybody can get it.
All right, so two-parter question. Do you give a woman more grace if you were already feeling her before jumping in bed? And two, if you were going to give her grace, is there ever something where you're like, nah, like we not coming back from this?
I give the grace that I expect to be extended or shown. And typically, like the lady just told you, you go down there and you acting like you a beaver gnawing on some wood, then they going to tell you to get up and quit. So if you think that you about to sit here and run my man parts through a cheese grater, no ma'am. No. Absolutely not. And the thing is if you give bad head, it's just because you don't want to do it. There are women with a mouthful of metal that will make you feel like you are having the life sucked out of you. And so you mean to tell me with you and your non-orthodontic braces can't at least do a decent job? I refuse. I'm cool. I don't like half-ass head no way.
And I will add this because you said that. Tons of the guys said it's less about the technique and more about the energy.
100%.
It seems like you are like, you want to do this, you want to be here. And next level above that is if you're actually excited yourself physically.
Yeah. Because
of how much you're enjoying pleasing him. That is like the top level. So if you're worried about not being a superhead or maybe he's had better, understand that the majority of the men said the energy is where it's at. Lamont, did you have anything you want to add? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Billy.
Oh, go ahead.
You better pretend like you need your rent paid. That's the motivation I need you to have. The same way,
2 months worth.
Because you got to think, our goal is we're going to try to keep ourselves out your group chat. Like, we don't want, as soon as we go home to be like, let me tell you what this beaver tooth did. You know what I'm saying? And I just expect, or I have now that I'm at this later phase in life, I just feel like that's just the bare minimum we can do. Because again, if the energy is off, like, just keep that. We can watch Netflix for real if you want.
Would you like to add?
I think in terms of the H word, that's one thing. If that's really important to you as a guy, maybe you don't extend that much grace because maybe her competency level may be below what you want it to be. So there's different levels of competency of like when it comes to that. So if you're not using teeth, then it can be worked with, right? But if you seem like you're using teeth, maybe that guy might not want to do that. But in general, as far as just sex, it's not killing. I can say sex, right?
Yeah, I think we're okay on YouTube for that one.
Yeah, okay. As long as in sex in general, I don't think. Well, depending on the type of guy, I don't think women really have to do all that much. So it's not like there's this kind of this high marker to reach as a woman. So I mean, other guys are different. Like they kind of say that they want a girl with bodies and all that stuff matter. Like traditionally, for me, I do all the work, so I can't really think of not extending. If I really like you, not extending. Yeah, that don't matter. As long as our sexual chemistry is there. Like as long as our bodies feel like they belong together, then we're good.
Okay, that's fair.
Can I ask a question? Oh, sorry, Jessica.
No, please go ahead, please.
Go ahead.
Oh, so my thing is, so you saying that the long as the chemistry there. So for you, the H word isn't a deal breaker.
For me personally,
yes.
No, that's not a deal breaker for me.
Okay, my next question is from a patron, and they wanted to know: is there a number of partners that you feel is acceptable for a woman to have before it starts to go over? This is a personal question to you. Like if you found out the chick was over this number, would you be horrified if you're sharing?
Would you like to go? I don't know the other gentleman's
Willie.
name.
I hate that when it shrinks, it takes the names away. But yes, it's Willie.
Willie, you got the floor.
So, am I answering is bad head a deal breaker, or is there a body count number that's too high?
Body count number that's too high for now, and then if you want to add the deal breaker part.
Hell yeah, there's a body count number that's too high. I mean, what's the statistic? Like women sleep with 1.4 men every year from the time they start having sex. So if you are too far outside of that parameter, like you went to college and decided you wanted to become a Thomas the Train fan, then but as I'm old at 40 now, it's more about the quality of men that you're sleeping with, more so than the number. Because if you're getting your back beat in by managers at Walmart and Taco Bell, I don't think that we're going to have much in common, and I'm not trying to follow behind those men.
So let me ask you this: what does that number mean now? And I guess the answer is going to be different whether you're talking about someone in their 20s, 30s, 40s, or 50s. But like, what does it mean when a person has too many? Like
you've been conquered by too many men. You've let too many men get in between your soul gaps. So if it's one thing that the type of men that women tend to like, one thing about those men is they like women who aren't easily accessed or easily obtained. And if you've been with 40, 50, 60, 100 dudes, you are definitely disqualified from saying that you are either of those things that we tend to like.
Even if she has, and the reason why I'm asking is I want to avoid the undercurrents of shame. There's an undercurrent of shame when you talk about having a high body count. So even if she had everything else on your list, she's attractive, she's intelligent, she makes a home feel like peace, all of those different things. But in her history, there's cobwebs in the closet.
The shame is supposed to be there. I mean, that's how we in society have societal standards. We use shame to enforce a lot of these.
And for women, I think the double standard is that's not the same.
Different standard. There's a different standard for what's expected for men and women. It's hard for me to have the type of sexual access I have. I had to work for that. It took years of grinding, years of sacrifice, and years to become who I am. to have the type of sexual access that you as a woman were born with.
So let me give some context real quick, Willie, because I know you're going to lose people on this. And it took me a long time to understand this. When people talk about the double standard, there isn't like a group who is coming out with these standards and they're applying it to everyone. Standards come from what is required from that particular group. So if men were shamed by women for having a lot of partners and they were not getting success with women because they had a lot of partners, it would change their behavior. Because women are shamed by men, that's not what they prefer. They adjust. It's the same thing with finances. Women respond well to men with finances, therefore men up their bag. Yes, they do it for themselves, but a lot of it is to get the best options in women. Women or men don't respond one way or the other when it comes to women with their bag. They're very neutral, or sometimes they don't like a woman to be very, very successful because a lot of times they found that there's a negative attitude and a lack of wanting to be a partner when they have that. So it's not like this universal thing. The double standard comes actually from our behavior. As women, if we found out that a guy had 50 partners, we might tease him and be like, okay, you're out in these streets. But we would keep it pushing if we knew he was clean. With a man, there's no way in hell they're dealing with that. So we set the standard. If I could just share that.
I think it's also more so that men are worried about their women being pure and not promiscuous because, it gives us paternity certainty. And unfortunately, you look in the world we live in now, a lot of there is a large percentage of men who are being cucked and don't even know it.
Wait, so can I just ask one question? Because I'm a little confused. Do people over 30 still ask about body count?
Probably not. You probably won't.
No, I've never in my life had to ask a woman about her body count, but you can tell.
Can you?
Yeah, it's not for any man with discernment. It's not hard to tell if a woman where she falls in the range.
So what?
And men talk too. So she has a reputation.
The world is small, and then there's things we look at. Like we can look at your friends, we can look at your decisions, we can look at your stances on conversations like this. We can look at how you present yourself to the world. We can look at the types of things you enjoy doing. We can just talk to you about your conversation. And then the almighty never lie to you is how you perform in bed.
You're gonna have to expound on that one, buddy.
I disagree on that, but hey, you know what I'm saying?
You're supposed to disagree because you're a woman and I'm a man giving you a man's perspective. So
I've seen
your limited experience is anecdotal. I get that. But when I say like the things that we can tell about, for example, like your performance in bed, one of the things that we've asked in a previous panel was that a lot of men notice that the more attractive a woman is, the worse she is in bed. Because the men that she gets with, they're worried about dominating and impressing her. And as I told you, staying out of the group chat. So all she has to do is lay there like a life-size sex doll, take penis and instruction. But for the women who are not as attractive, they tend to be a little more creative and active when you sleep with them. So when guys ask me like who I would go for if I were them, I say the sweet spot is between a 4 and a 7. Because an 8 thinks she's a 10, a 9 is pretty sure she's a 10, and a 10 is a 10. So all they're going to do is stay there at that terrible ass arch and then hope that you can say last longer than she does. And she lasts longer than she does. But those 4 to 7s, they're appreciative of the fact they have a man who is doing all of the things that guy is probably going to do to her, knowing that, she's not the most attractive person. So she's going to be the one like doing handstands and all the rest of that crazy stuff.
Or
there's other guys here that you can ask. And again, it's not a double standard, like it's a different standard.
Or someone can have had a lot of sex over their lives because they're married and been in long-term committed relationships.
So that's
sex and number of partners aren't necessarily the same thing.
So that's another thing. That's also a key marker for men. If you tell a man that you've been in 2 long-term relationships and you explain, when I was 17, I was with that guy until I was 25. Then I was 27. I was with this guy until I was now, right? Then that's kind of like obvious that most likely, if you weren't just cheating every day, that you most likely have a lower body count. But if I can bring it all back around to like the beginning of like in reality, this question is almost not very productive because you'll never ask a girl her body count unless you're weird, right? You'll never ask. She'll never tell you. And even if you do ask, it won't be the truth, right? I wouldn't even my girlfriend. We can get married tomorrow. I would never expect her to tell me the truth unless it's like something she can be proud of, like, oh, it's only 2 men, right? Of course she'll tell me the truth, but I wouldn't ask her. Now, does it matter? It doesn't. It doesn't. To most men, I would say it doesn't. It doesn't. So it doesn't because I'm not going to ask you, but it does because if by some weird way you were kind of giving me signs that you are promiscuous or have been promiscuous, or you're giving me signs that I find out that you do have a high body count, that'll bother me because and I know a lot of guys try to put reasons on it, like they might say use the paternity reason. Oh, I just want to know I have paternity or something like that. You can account for everything, right? I can get a DNA test. You can be clean, right? You can be the best woman in the world. None of that matters. Us as men, we just don't like women who are promiscuous. We don't like it. I can't explain why. It doesn't really matter because it's the truth, right? We just don't like it. Like some women don't like certain things about men, and they might not like men who are bisexual. I don't know why. If the man is clean or whatever, but they don't. I don't gotta ask them why, right? They say women women are unattracted to men who have touched men before, regardless of the reason, right? A lot of women will tell you, "Oh, I don't like that because he might be actually." Well, what if he says it was an experience he had and he'll never do it again? They'll be like, "No, I don't want it," right? And that's okay. That's their business. They can have that as a standard. I don't care. Um, but we always try to put reasons on why we don't like women who are whores, and we don't have to have a reason. We just don't like it, and we know that we don't like it. So is it a big deal? It matters, but it doesn't. Like as long as it don't come up, as long as you're not giving signs that you are a super, you've been super promiscuous. And another thing, like if we're having this conversation and you tend to be really far on the other side, that's going to be a bad sign for him. Because most likely you oppose it for a specific reason.
I was to say if a bunch of dudes come up to you and be like, "Hey, man," and they try
That's
to
why
jab
guys don't like posting their girlfriends, because you know that some of y'all used to be out there and we don't want to hear no stories. Like, see,
Yeah.
where it's because we got other stuff going on. The majority of the time, it's because, hey, we understand, like, we got you now, but somebody had you before us, and we don't want to hear nobody be like, "Hey, bro, you messing with Lynette."
Yeah, that's wild.
Bro, that's correct. Like, that's a great reason. That's one of the main reasons we don't do it, because there's a certain type of man who doesn't care, but the type that can tend to.
So, would you guys be willing to marry a virgin or an extremely inexperienced woman?
Oh, can I make a point too? Also, I wanted to make a point.
And hi,
A
Jay.
lot of that thing that like, oh, you can't turn a hoe into a housewife, or I'm scared a hoe is going to cheat on me. In reality, I think that a lot of women who are considered whores will make great partners. And I've dealt with someone in capacity before, and they wanted to cook for me right after. They just wanted me to stay, right? They just wanted that so bad. They wanted a father for their son. They want a bunch of things. And I think a lot of those women would make great women, because a lot of women do that. They are promiscuous because they're just looking for love, right? And they can never find it in the right man. That doesn't matter. Even though I think that they can make a good woman. They can make a great woman for a man. Men still don't like women who are promiscuous. So I do think that those women would make great wives, and they will be committed to one man. They can, like, there are certain women who are like, if I'm in a relationship, I'm in a relationship, and when she's out, right? But I just wanted to make that point too.
And I will say this, in the other questions, I was reading the comments for you guys live. Going back, I forgot how explicit they were. So y'all just have to be on Patreon and read the answers, because the men understood the assignment and answered the question that were being asked, and they were specific about what they liked. So if you would like a tutorial, a written tutorial, go ahead and check that. It was posted last week. Was someone going to say something? I felt like someone was commenting.
No, I was about to say, I think to answer the question, there are, and I did not post, but there are some very specific things that makes the difference between good and bad. I think one of the things we look for, and I will speak for myself, is someone that's confident in what they do and how they go about. And I think a lot of times confidence only comes by experience. So you have to, in your own mind, say, okay, she's very good at this. The only way she got this good is by being out there. Now, I can say, oh, I'm gonna turn off, or I'm only gonna use her for that one experience, or I'm gonna say, okay, she's experienced. So what? I'm experienced also. I might not be to her degree, but I think there is a element of confidence that we all have to have, and security in who we are as a person. But no one gets good without experience.
I think that's a myth.
Okay.
So before I've ever touched a woman, I've never tried anything new ever, right? Before I licked the vagina, I wanted to do it. Before I put my face in the butt, I wanted to do it. I don't adventure, right? I'm not one of those experimental guys, right? When you want to do that, so when you like women to that level or whatever, you're a passionate lover. So if a woman is just passionate, she likes you, she wants to do things with you. I don't think it takes a lot of doesn't take a lot of skill to be passionate. Um, it's not rocket science. Like,
But let me ask you,
So do you think it's
even though
easy?
you
Do you think
wanted
it's
to
easy to
do
get
that,
laid?
what makes you think that you were good? Or what makes your wanting to do something good? I mean, you understand that what you was doing at 20 and what you're doing now could be polar opposites.
Exactly.
It could be you've learned techniques, you learn what I mean, and everybody's different. Every person that you've been with is different. So what might work for one, you can't do with the other. So again, I think the experience that you do brings about a confidence, and yes, I mean, I'm not discrediting your passion, because I definitely passion is a big thing about it. But you didn't come out the first time you perform oral sex on a woman that you was great at it, and you weren't good to the degree that you are now.
so being good at oral sex is so like because all women are so different.
They're not.
Like,
But that's what
it'll
I'm
take
saying. But
yeah,
you said it's about passion, and I'm saying it's not about. I understand passion, but I'm thinking it's more about experience,
yeah.
and that experience brings confidence, and that confidence makes you better. And the question is, what's the difference between good and bad? And I would say the experience and the
Yeah.
confidence that you have by experimenting.
Hmm. Okay, I guess that's valid. It's probably just two different perspectives, and they both might be
Yeah.
valid. I think passion is for a person that's really like I'm not just some men just like I just want to give you back shots, right? And there's other men who like,
Mhm.
yo, I want to be involved. I want us to experience something together, right?
Hmm.
So if you're a type of lover that I just want to be here with you. I want us to be locked in. Um, if you're passionate and we're sexually compatible, it's not a lot that you need to learn, and the confidence like of just being passionate is like being a passionate kisser. Like how many times do you have to kiss to learn to be a passionate kisser?
A
I
lot.
thought I was good pretty
Wow.
early.
A lot. Because I done kissed some guys who can't kiss worth a damn.
I thought I was
I
good
know a
pretty
lot of
early,
women that can't kiss still
but
Yeah.
they
So
can't
today. And
kiss
I'm
because
like,
they can't
you
kiss. Like
40, 50 years old and
There
you
are
still
girls who
can't
done,
kiss?
there are girls that have throated a dozen penises and aren't any better than the one peen, excuse me, that aren't any better than the girl who's throated that one for 10 years straight. Like
right.
it's not the amount of times people you do it with, it's the amount of time you do something. Kissing is a skill. Love making
um,
is a skill. And with any skill, it's muscle memory. And you can literally just ask your partner, hey partner, do you want back shots right now? Or do you want to be held? Or do you want me to be locked in this experience with you? Literally it's like it's different for every woman.
I,
So
I
just to
might
say
be an
like, well,
outlier.
I thought that I was good the first time
Yeah.
I do it. You know, that's probably one of the reasons why women hate men when we get in bed, because we think we can all do them the same.
No,
So
they
do y'all
don't.
communicate?
Exactly.
Do men? This is a little different for me, but don't men communicate this stuff? Like, do you have communication with the woman before? Like, you talk about your
Exactly.
experience with head, stuff like that. Because I'm used to communication. You have that conversation before you start having sex, and of course, he'll tell you I'm not experienced.
Do you like this? Some girls don't even like being kissed. Some girls literally just want to go get destroyed. Some people want to be caressed and coddled a little bit and fed after. You just need to ask her in person, but to just think I'm just gonna come out the back and just, I've never kissed a woman before, but I'm about to be the best kisser in the world.
But
so question, did y'all have to kiss? When did y'all think y'all was like? When do you think your kiss game went to another level?
When a woman told me it did.
Ladies, how about y'all?
I would say I'm an outlier. Okay. French kissing. Like the first time I French kissed, I was like, "What? I don't know," and I didn't like it for like decade until I realized I didn't like the person I was French kissing. Like when I had the first French kiss was when I actually liked. I was like, "Oh, I'm not repulsed and wanting to throw up in his mouth." So for me, it was a progress. I don't feel like I learned a technique of kissing. I feel like that did come naturally, so I'm leaning more towards Lamont on this one. Yeah. But French kissing, I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. This doesn't feel natural.
Yeah, I'm with him. It was natural, and it was natural for me. And it all depends on how you feel about the person. So I can understand what he's saying about the passion, because if you're really into the person, for some reason, it just feels right and it goes really well.
Also, I think some people's mouths work differently. Like some people's tongues, like some people can't do certain things with their tongues that you like, how can't you do that? And some people's mouths and their tongues work differently.
I will say though, some people think they're doing a good job, and you're just like
horrible.
Like, is your mouth open like you're at the dentist?
Horrible. It's spit all over the place. Horrible.
Oh my god! If I had to do this,
yeah, it is. Stop lying to men and tell them. That's the problem. Like, it's okay.
But I think the key is it's like it depends on the person. It's funny because when my Facebook group, I remember asking about women. I remember asking women where they liked to be touched. Okay, I'm trying to be very creative on this platform here. And the mammary glands. Am I saying it right? Mammary glands. Mm-hmm. Some women were like, "Oh my god, it does nothing for me. Like, why are they messing with them and didn't leave them alone?" And then the rest of the community was like, "Don't speak for us. Like, we love that." So I really think. Oh, thank you, Clemmy, for the first super chat. Thank you so much. It's in pounds, so I don't really know.
About $25.
Oh my goodness, thank you. Okay, awesome. Thank you, love. And so she said, spreading the love to all the great people here this evening. God bless you all. Thank you. And this is a great opportunity to say, if you are liking the show, if you could just smash that like button. We've gotten up double so far. We're just about 10 people away. This lets YouTube know that you're enjoying it because they can't see if you're like watching like this or not. So just hit that like button. You have to close your chat box if you're watching on a cell phone, and then hit the like, and then you can open the chat box back. But this allows them to know that more people like it, and they'll push it out to more people. So the more people we have, the more fun it is, the more opinions we get and all that jazz. So if you guys can do that, that would be great. Thank you so much, Clemmy, for that. That's awesome. All right. So did anyone else have anything that they wanted to share before we go on to the next question? Y'all, we're almost at an hour already. Time is flying by. All right. So like I said, go back and read in your own times because the other answers were just way too juicy. All right. So let's see here. The next question that we're going to get into, what type of smile do you prefer? I asked the men and I gave them an option. I'm going to go ahead and share the picture if I can remember how to do this.
Be right back, Yonci.
Okay, sounds good. Oh, Lord. Hold on, y'all. My StreamYard people, I got to remember. It's shown here. Oh, there we go. Okay. Unfortunately, I did not I don't think I saved it right. Okay, so I'm just going to show it on my phone so you guys can see. I thought I had uploaded it, but I maybe hadn't. So just give me 1 second. Oh, it just been too easy. So basically, it's a smirk or is a full-on smile, and so that is a fact, Billy. Hang on, y'all, bear with me. I want to show you the stats. So I'm going to show you the picture, and then I'm going to show you the stats. All right, so here is the picture. There we go. Sorry, y'all, for having to do this bootleg. Next week, I'll make sure I have all the pictures. You see the difference in the smile? Oh, it's a little blurry. So one is like a smirk, and the other one is a real smile. Sorry, I don't know how to make it less blurry, but okay, those were the two. And then we had these. There we go. Oh, I lucked out and I got the first one because it didn't save the title. So as you can see, the full grin, way more likes for the guys. So men on the panel. Oh, let me change the question. Goodness gracious. Different question. So men on the panel, if you want to share, what kind of smile do you prefer? This is if you don't know the woman and you see a picture of her. Which one is going to make you more interested in talking to her?
The full smile for me. I mean, it's just more inviting. It's more, yeah. Just there's no other words to say. It's just more inviting. The smirk gives the connotation that I'm up to something, or it's not genuine.
Right. Okay.
When
Anyone else?
I didn't think that we were talking about it in a picture. I thought we were just saying like if we were out somewhere.
Oh, gotcha. Well, see, you could give the context. It's okay. That initially was my mindset if you saw that picture, because sometimes women will submit posts or pictures to post, and then they'll give one that's like.
I definitely say the full smile, always, because the full smile is more inviting. When you give a half of a smile, it's like that you're hiding something or that you don't want to show your teeth, because we do like to see what kind of grill you got. Because we ain't trying to make sure that you ain't got a whole mouthful of our rotten teeth. But a full smile always work.
Okay. Anyone else want to share?
I would say full smile. You want to see a full smile is absolutely better. You want to see a lot of girls, and this is not to say that everybody's hiding something. A lot of girls, it's like a cap for some men. A lot of them don't like their smile. For whatever reason, they might have a gap. They might not have nice teeth. Or it could be so many different reasons. So you prefer to just see the smile.
Yeah.
I've never seen a woman smile that made me in a picture that made me be like, oh man, let me establish contact with her.
You said wait, you said a picture, a smile has never made you want to contact her? Is that what you said?
In life. It's made me be like, oh, that lady, I like her outfit. But those are like, women in church. But I've never looked at someone in a picture and been like, oh man, her smile, that might be my wife right there. That's cool.
What about Mona Lisa? They said there's something in her smile.
No, Mona Lisa's ugly in person. I proposed to my ex-wife in front of the Mona Lisa, in front of like 800 people. When I tell you that painting is creepy in person, it's creepy. Like it's not all that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Like if that's what people look like back then, I'm glad that I was born in the 80s. Because absolutely not.
All right, so going back to the beginning of your comment, what are things that catch your eye in pictures? So if the smile's not it, like what are things? Is it like I'll just leave it at that.
You want to be honest, or just you want me to tell you what I can tell you for real, or like what? I mean, I don't know how you want me to answer this question.
I don't want you to lie.
Okay, titties, your face being symmetrical, like your sense of style, like those types of things, your body, typically, more so. Like your smile is probably the last thing that I look at. I'd rather see your feet than your smile, to be honest.
I think depending on it depends on the guy. But I do think that when men are looking at women, we have like a specific ratio of like so we have your face that counts for 5, and we have your body that counts for 5. Like right now, let's say your face is not too attractive to us. Okay, the only thing that can bring you back up on that scale is your body. It's kind of like a ratio, and if your face is very pretty, then we're willing to kind of give up some on the body. Depending on the guy, of course, but it's a ratio. Some women are so beautiful. Like remember Aaliyah, the singer? She wasn't really voluptuous, but we like her. So it's a give and take.
And I would say for me, a woman can really change and brighten up a room. Can really bring and change the atmosphere to a room if she smiles. Again, if you're looking at B compared to A, that A is just like, yeah, what's up, player? But that B is just like, hey, sunshine, and
Mhm.
it's for well, and I can just say, like I said, for me, it just brings about a different understanding, and it's conveying a different type of message.
I agree. I like smiles. It goes along with like kind of like feminine women. It's like
There's
And I
something there's something to it, and especially when she is um authentic, when she's confident. It's something that I really try hard to teach in my courses and explain that there's just something about your energy and your beauty, and when it all comes together, it's mesmerizing to a man. It's not an arrogance, it's not a I think I'm better than you. It's almost like when you see a little child, not to that's kind of weird to make the comparison, but it's like there's just something about a kid. They don't have to do anything for you. They don't have to pay for anything. It's just their presence brings joy, to normal human beings. And so with a male female interaction, her being is just enchanting. And so a lot of it is just, is that smile. So looking at some of these comments. Oh goodness, I was over here trying to mess with my graphics. Lovely Lena, thank you so much for the super chat. Trying to get all my platform names correct. They're calling me different Instagram. Super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Lamont, you have a question. Where do you reside? If you feel like answering, you're welcome to
yeah.
plead the
I'm
fifth. If you
I'm
would
in the
like.
Philly area, in like that area
I
suburb.
will
Yeah.
I will say that when you were talking about teeth, um, it never ceases to amaze me when I was, looking at guys' pictures, and every picture he had his mouth closed, and then maybe there was a video, and I ended up seeing his teeth, and he had beautiful teeth, and I always thought, why wouldn't he show those? Because I associate someone not showing their teeth with having, teeth they were not proud of. So it shocked me, and I mean, call me shallow, but I've literally swiped left on guys who didn't show their teeth because teeth is such a big deal to me that I didn't want to risk talking to him and then boom, finding out his teeth are mangled. And now I got to admit, like, it is just your teeth that made me walk away.
I absolutely agree with you on that one. I'll double down on it.
Yeah, teeth are big for me.
Bad teeth lead to bad breath.
Oof.
So, I mean,
Bad head.
And on that note,
yes, on that note.
oh my God. All right. So let's get to the next question. Woo, Lord, this one is juicy. Okay. So let me just go ahead and put it on the screen before I forget. All right. So I asked the guys, do you think that most men secretly wish they could trade up once they glow up, get their money up, get their fitness together, become more, famous or well to do? Y'all want to see what percent did you think? It was a landslide. So those of you on Patreon, you can't answer because you guys have seen the answers. In the comments, what do you think? Do you think trade up or keep day one? So trade up or day one, which do you think was the overwhelming majority that the men answered? I want to see these comments, and there's a little bit of a delay, so we'll have to do pass the time. I love your background, by the way. Let's see. Is it Manda? Oh, you're muted.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, it's Manda. Sorry, Manda. But
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I painted it myself, so I just made sure it was.
No, it's beautiful. You look like you're on set. I love it. Okay, so Tim said he thinks trade up was voted. Siku, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. She said keep day one. We need some more votes, y'all. You got 40 something people on here. Do you think it was an overwhelming majority of men said they would want to trade up? Or do you think an overwhelming majority of men said they wanted to keep day one? Let's get at least 10 guesses because I want to see if y'all thought what I thought it would be. I'm always interested when I click these answers. By the way, y'all, this is how my platform started out. I was a single woman wanting to know questions for my own personal self, and then the women were just all my business, and they trying to get the answers too. So it's interesting doing this 9 years later. Okay, so we got another day one, another trade up. We got 2 and 2. We got a trade up, so now we got 3-1 for trade up. So far the majority says trade up. Let's just get a couple more, y'all. Keep day one, even it back out again. Now we're even to even. Okay, keep day one is in the lead. And let's just do one more. Just break this tie and watch someone say trade up.
My vote is trade up, Yonci.
Okay. So the majority, it kind of evened out. So I thought that the majority were going to say trade up, and let's see what they said. The men overwhelmingly said stick with day one. Are you guys surprised on the panel? Raise your hand if you're surprised by that answer. Okay. The guys are surprised. Okay. So let me look at some of the comments that the men said. But yeah, they said they wanted to stick with their day ones. And the only part that didn't surprise me is because a lot of guys say they want to make sure we're using them for what they have. So I know if she started out with me that she's the real one. Okay, so poor dude who was in IG jail, he finally got out, thank goodness. He said trade up, but only because the quality of woman we choose and the things that we put up with, you become less tolerant the more mature you become and just want an easygoing woman, not necessarily always about the looks. So that's an interesting perspective. So he was saying basically if maybe you have the person that you have now just because that's all you could get. So she's not a great girl, and you're just like, but this is all I can get. And now all of a sudden you have options. That's a real answer. He said, but to elaborate, I think that as we get more money, we find a woman who sees us. We get more money. We find a woman who sees us just as a great man. When the woman who met us on our come up may see us as that guy she met 10 years ago. It's rare a guy is with a woman who has consistently admired him through his journey. Remember that word admire, because I'm gonna get to that. They typically remember you for the mistakes you've made or imperfections, not talking about cheating. Now, I have heard this from guys where they say they want a woman to admire having there's a little feedback. Someone's watching it. Please make sure you mute it. I have heard that guys really want a woman's respect and admiration. Do those words resonate with you? Like women want to be loved and adored and cherished. Do any of you guys identify with that word, or does
Thousand
that
percent.
resonate?
1,000%.
Yeah, 1,000. Yeah. I would
It's like
rather
that Sarai,
you
like
admire me and respect me than love me, because admiring and respect me is going to go so much further than love. Love is like the wind, it comes here and to and fro. But once you respect me, a lot of times it's very hard to lose that kind of respect.
and the
Yeah, I agree.
respect keeps you. It curtails a lot of actions. It really respects. Like if you, I respected and feared my father. And so because I wanted my teeth to remain in my head, there were certain things I didn't say, certain things I didn't do. And when you truly admire a person, because you can show someone respect, like for example, you could show respect to the police because you're trying to stay alive, right? But to respect somebody, you move differently. You treat them very carefully. You don't take things for granted. And so, someone's got something playing. You got to mute it, or turn the volume all the way down. Or it's going to echo. But that's huge. Any other guys? Does it resonate with them wanting to be respected and admired?
Respected, yeah, but admiration, I mean, that comes with just us choosing each other. I mean, but the respect part, that's the part that I think takes effort.
I would disagree. The admiration part.
All right.
Please
Well,
go ahead. By the way, I love how respectfully people disagree on this platform. I thank you so much. So explain more where there's a disagreement.
Were you finished?
not at all, but go ahead, boss.
Oh no, do your thing. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Well, I don't want to. I don't want you to lose your thought. I promise I won't lose mine. Go ahead.
No, I won't. I'm passionate about this.
Yeah, being respectful is a choice. You have to. It's like you. That takes effort. Loving someone, as you're saying, it's like they say, love's an action verb. That sounds cool. Like it makes good fodder for a book. But to be respectful and respect someone, I'm always going to take that. If my other options are love and admiration, I need my woman to respect me enough to follow my lead. I don't need her to admire me to follow my lead. I need my woman to respect me enough to choose me every day, to do what it takes to qualify for my love daily, the same way that I do her. Admiring me, I admire LeBron James. I don't want to be him. I admire Yonci. I don't want to be her as a woman. Like admiration is super. Admiration is one of those things that I think that best fits women more so than men. I think respect, being respected, revered, sought after. I think those things are probably a little bit more masculine for me than being admired. Because people who like to be admired probably also like being popular or famous, and none of those things fit me.
See, I see admiration is very different than a popular. But go ahead, Lamont.
I see admiration as more akin to respect than love than the opposite. I think love is something that I believe in. I don't believe in conditional love. I think all love is unconditional. For the reason that you don't choose who you love. I can hate you and I can love you. I can you can be the worst person. You can do the worst things to me ever in life, and I can still love you. You can cheat on me today. I can't just like a child say I don't love you no more. I love you, but the relationship is conditional. I won't be with you, right? Your kid, your mom can do something to you. I love you. This relationship is conditional though. I gotta go, right? So in terms of admiration and respect, I think those two are very close together. So for example, like I'm an entrepreneur, right? I love that my woman sees me as like, wow, like how did you do this? Like how are you able to just not have to have a job and you can do all these things for me? Like she understands that it took a special person to do what I do. And that admiration helps me it I like adulation. A lot of people do. It feeds I feed from it.
Mm-hmm.
And the respect comes from that. So the respect is going to be a given. If like, yo, how did you do this? Like, I respect you because I see what you can do, but I admire you. I don't think that I could be doing your job. So that's why I don't try to lead because I don't think I can do that. I see how you do that. Wow, how don't you get, why is your head on fire right now? Why aren't you running in a circle like me? I admire that. Like she just had I feel like it's best for your woman to kind of see you in a certain light. So yeah, I think that's more closer to
I would use
respect.
I would use the word awe synonymously with admire from my perspective. Um, I I have to I have to admire a man to be with him. Because I can show him respect, but I have to admire him to some degree. And I think that his behavior causes that. A man's work ethic for one is something that I admire. Like, wow, you just get up and go, you don't complain. You just get it done. You always take the crappier situation. If someone's going to be colder, it's going to be you. If someone's going to have to stand, it's going to be you. Like, that's admirable. Even even things like changing a tire. Oh, I remember I came outside and Monte was just changing the tire because the tire had rolled over something and it was going flat, and I was just like, oh. And it was beyond liking him. Like, I like him and I think he's cute. It's like, oh. Or if you see the way his brain works, or wow, you just got it out the mud. Those types of things. And I think it's so important that we say those things to our guy and not assume that he knows. When people go, oh, well, obviously, duh, 'cause I'm here, or no, or I kissed you. No, like actually say those words. Like I'm fangirling a little bit. You know, the way you play the guitar, or I'm just making up, whatever it is. Or the fact that you're so masculine. I remember saying this. I said, the fact that you're so masculine, but you have the perfect amount of feminine energy. Feminine energy being that you can communicate, you have artistic abilities, the ability to nurture your children, to be there to show up for me. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful balance. I don't want a chauvinistic guy who's just has, dare I say, toxic masculine, right? It's not, masculine isn't bad. It's when it is so out of control. And I'm just going to say this because for years people have said, what's the version of toxic femininity? Toxic femininity would be a woman who's in touch with her emotions, but she's so in touch with them that she's overwhelmed by them and she cannot control them. So there is such a thing as going to the extreme, and it is not attack on men. So I have to give that disclaimer before guys feel that way.
Yeah, you do know that it's also proven that when men focus on one woman, and they put all that time and effort into one woman, that they are more successful than trying to um, chase different women. So, so if you look at truly successful men, they always have one woman that they focus on, and together they are able to conquer. So there's no need to trade up. And I think that if anybody, man or woman, get to the point to where that they want to trade up, that means that they've stopped putting in the time and effort into making what's in front of them better. And as the saying said, that the grass is not always greener on the other lawn. You should just take time and nurture yours, and if you nurture it, it'll get to that same green that you want, that you see over in somebody else's yard. So
Also, I wanted to add too, like I think a lot, like with your kids, I think a lot of kids respect their parents, but if you admire your father, oh my God, like if you admire your father, you're doing what he said and what he's always taught you because you admire him, which is if you respect him, okay, you might, but if you admire your father or your mother, you're going to do what they say. Like
Mhm.
you, even when you're not around and you're an adult and all that type of stuff, it'll stick.
Yeah. I definitely think that admiration is a very cool thing when you can have it with your person. And it's there are so many things that we have to do as partners to maintain a certain level. I think that there's this fantasy, or people say, oh, why does it have to be that deep? Or why do I have to play all these games? And I don't think it's about playing games. I think it's about understanding the laws of human nature. Like there are laws of gravity and things like that. Laws of physics like gravity. It's not about you playing a game. If you understand, if I hold something up and drop it, it is going to fall, and therefore you adjust. You don't hold heavy things over your feet or something that can get hurt or what have you. And so when you understand the laws of psychology, you do certain things to get the outcome that you want. It is manipulation, but not in a neutral way. So if I understand that me catching my man doing something positive, praising him, is going to have way more of a positive effect than catching him the one time he does something negative and jumping down his throat. For example, I could complain and say, you don't show me a lot of affection. And that's going to have a negative effect. Versus if I wait until that one time he kisses me or says something and I go, oh my God, it made my whole day. I love it when you love me in my love language. I guarantee you that is going to be more powerful. And so the more we understand about the opposite sex, the better outcomes we are going to have. And I think sometimes people don't realize as how much power they have over their person. If that person isn't where they want them to be, well, you can influence them in a beautiful, beautiful way. Anyone want to share anything else before I get to the last question? All right. Speak now or forever hold your peace. All right. Let me get to this next question. This, it was funny because some of the questions, I think Lynette even said it in Patreon. She's like, oh, they be quiet on some of these questions. So I think sometimes I might need to use my anonymous form. It takes more work for me, which is why I don't do it every day, but like let them answer anonymously. But I asked them, how is your sex drive compared to your 20s and 30s? And let's get these answers up here. Any surprise here? I was expecting it to be the majority lower. I asked 40 plus men who are over 40 plus. So quite a few, half the guys said it was the same, which was pretty impressive for over 40. And 14% WTF or WTH, excuse me, said there was higher than your younger years. And so my follow up question, which we will get into next week, because each week we're going to cover Monday through Friday of the week before. I asked, did your partners take it personally, those of you who had lower drive in their younger year than in their younger years? So I won't put anyone on blast and ask how old you are, but I will say, if you are not over 40, this question is not for you, sir. Does anyone want to talk about a situation where their partner took it personally when their drive was not as high as their younger years?
That's
You know,
I don't believe. I believe the data is skewed a little.
Okay.
no,
Um,
that was us answering.
I mean, and I don't mind. I'm thankful. I'm 55. I weigh about 40 pounds heavier than I did in high school. Things
Okay.
don't work as well as they used to work in my 20s, about 30 years ago. Um, doesn't mean that I don't enjoy it. Doesn't mean, um, like my brother said, you got to have passion. But I just believe that we have to communicate. There have been times that I've dated or I was with a young lady and things didn't work out as well as I would have liked to. Um, and we communicated. And that helped me have more confidence because it wasn't a thing of, oh, well, you used to can go 4 or 5 times. Now you give me two, and now you rolling over, and it's like, well, dang, am I good for nothing? I mean, but I mean, um, but when you have those conversations, and I think going back to the previous question, somewhat, when you have those people who are your day one, they understand and they treat you a lot different than the come up types.
So
Yes.
I
And
agree, 'cause I had lots of questions. Like, what else is going on besides the sex? Like, what's
okay.
this person's stress level like? What's their health like? Like, and if I'm your partner, what can I do to help or be supportive so that when sex is occurring, you're at least enjoying it, even if the drive is down. So I feel like their communication is so important in this scenario.
Yes. Let me answer that for you. Um, I am one that was in the 14% that said it's higher. Definitely, it is your diet, it is your activity, exercising. It's going to the gym. If you upkeep those things, then your sex drive maintains itself, and sometimes it does increase. But for the most part, it's going to sustain itself. As you get older, and let me speak for me. Mine is more concerned as now with the quality versus the quantity. So, and then it's longer now. But however, I am of the mind that whatever that I can't do naturally, hey, they have tons of toys out here that you can use. And you just have to be secure within yourself and just be honest and say, hey, today is not a good day. But hey, let me pleasure you. Um, but then that comes with understanding who you are. That's understanding you having security within yourself, and then the woman that you with, um, having the level of respect, and also saying, okay, hey, got it, but you got to make it fun. The more fun it is, the better it is. You gotta know how to role play. You gotta know how to switch it up. You gotta know how to go to different places. You gotta know how to create different fantasies. And so once you do that, you should never have a problem with sex. And look, ladies, I know sometimes you're very quick and sometimes we're very quick. Sometimes you're not going to come, and sometimes we're not going to come. It's all about it's all about having that level of communication so that while we are enjoying each other, hey, I may not reach the finish line this time, but did you get yours? Okay, cool. Next time, then I know that whenever it comes back around, then you may get yours and I may not get mine. And then there'll be times that both of us gonna come at the same time and we're gonna pass out. But it goes to actually knowing your partner. And actually, when you're dealing with one person, it's even better because then you begin to understand, you begin to sync with that person, you begin to know when they're not in the mood. You're able to sense when things are off. So, but you got to make it fun. Make it fun. And I guarantee you, anybody on this panel that's married can actually tell you, the more fun you make it, the better it is.
You can make sex fun as you want to. It's a whole lot that goes into a man's sex drive. What we have going on in the world can make us not want to come home and have sex. What we've dealt with while we were outside slaying dragons can make us not want to come home and have sex for 2 or 3 hours on a Tuesday night. It's significantly more mental, or it's almost to say equally mental for men as it is women. Once men get to a point where they're not pressed to have sex,
I was saying when they're not pressed.
when they've been able to have sex on demand for years, everything else can affect their sex drive. Personally speaking, I started a company, sold it, made a bunch of money, and lost all that money messing around with crypto. So until I got my bag back right, my ex was thinking that maybe I wasn't attracted to her. So I finally had to tell her, like, hey, no, it's not that. It's that, I don't like having to, being where I am financially. It's nothing to do with you, but just my stress levels alone just made it where it's not that I couldn't perform, it's that I didn't want to, because the time that I'm spending doing this, I feel like my family needs me to be outside somewhere else, making sure that we're safe and straight. It has nothing to do with it's not a blanket statement for men that's going to say, okay, well, if you make sex fun, we're going to want to have it. Because again, if my funds aren't the way that I'm used to them being, sex is the furthest thing from my mind.
I like that you described it as a priority level. And by the way, guys, I'm loving this conversation. Let me know in the comments if you're enjoying it too, because there's so much more context that can be given. And I hope that as we do this each week, more and more men can come on, because you can only get so much from the answers. And sometimes the ladies are like, I wish we could do the expand, because we only screenshot the original answer, because ain't anybody trying to go in there and open it and screenshot. That's too much. So it's nice you guys can give context here. And so each week, that the next week, you're going to be able to ask the guys the questions. But I wanted to say this on behalf of women, because so much of what we are valued for, which I hate to say it this way, but so much of what we're valued for is our bodies and our being, like our energy and things like that. You guys aren't being with us because we're amassing you wealth. We're not here for, a lot of it. It's pleasure. And I don't mean it as a negative thing. It's just, I think it's beautiful that our value just comes with what we're born with. That being said, if there is a great change in your appetite, I think that it is really important to notice it yourself and tell her before she even notices it. Because a woman who is very attentive to her man and wants to please, she's more than likely, tell me if I'm wrong, ladies, going to take it personally, which is why I asked the follow-up question, which got posted the next week. She's going to take it personally, and she's going to go, does he not find me attractive? And because as a woman, some women, because there are a lot of women who do equate sex stress with not wanting sexy time. If she's not a person who doesn't think that way, I had a hard day, I don't want to have sex. Some women are like, I got a hard day, shoot, blow my back out. Okay. So she's the latter. She's going to take it offensively, or she sees that you're stressed. She's going to come to you and go, baby, let me ease your mind. Let me take your mind off of, the fact that you blew all this Bitcoin, on Bitcoin or whatever. So communicate. And so if he could reassure her, because I say women want to be loved, cherished, and adored. Men want to be respected and admired. So if you let her know, I love you to death, my head is just over here, and then say, this is what you can do for me instead. Because a woman who is in her feminine and she's loving, she wants to nurture you. So it might be loving me this week means respectfully leaving me alone. It might be letting me go to my place where I can think. Maybe he goes fishing and that's where he does his best thinking. Or understanding I'm going to be working later hours. So I'm not going to be able to sit at the table formally with the kid. Whatever that is, I think those healthy conversations will help to alleviate so much stress. Because if you let a woman spiral with her thoughts, she gonna have you banging the secretary. She gonna have you, maybe you play for the other team. She gonna come up with all kind of scenarios.
That was my biggest mistake. I didn't communicate that. And like you said, or you alluded to, the most dangerous place for a man to be is in his girlfriend's imagination. Like, that's the most dangerous place a man will ever be. As soon as I peeped that she was taking it personally, because I didn't think that, to me, that was like a far-fetched thing back then. Like, you're taking it personal. Like there's some nights that, we're just off. Like, you went to the gym, worked a little too hard, you're tired. But I didn't communicate that to her. But then when I did, and then showed her where I was, what I lost, then she was sick. And she was like, okay, I understand.
She said, I want you to sleep with me. Get out there.
Yeah, because, she started going through my phone. Because, again, like you said, she thought I was hitting the secretary. Yep. All of that stuff. And it was just because I didn't communicate. So I had to own that. I just never thought, as a man being so or self-involved, like with my own issues, I never thought about how me rejecting her would make her feel. So, I had to apologize and, pay for it later. But either way, I understand that there is a significant impact that what a man is dealing with on the outside that it can affect in his home. And it's not just in the bedroom. It even can be how you treat your kids, or you treat your partner. Because if you're tired from, dealing with the world, when you come back in the house, you think everything's supposed to be a little more peaceful. Everything's supposed to be ordered because you rely on your woman to give you those things. And Lord forbid she had an off day. So now you come home and dinner's not ready, or she hasn't done the thing that she does. And again, we men tend to not always or oftentimes, be the most observant when it comes to how we view our women. Once we're used to them, we just get used to a pattern. So the communication deficiency that, as a leader was my fault. So I had to bite that bullet in.
I agree with Willie, because I went through that with my ex 2 years ago. The same thing, because he was out there slaying dragons and doing doubles and everything else, that when the weekend came up where we spend time together, I would want to snuggle. I would want to be intimate. And he was like, no. And I'm like, hold on. I only see you, on the weekends, and you working Monday through Friday doing doubles, for you and your children. And it's like, come on, like, I want some affection. I need to be touched. I need for you to rub my head and things like that. And till one day he just yelled at me, was like, it doesn't work. And I was like, and I'm like, what happened? He was like, he was so overwhelmed, his sex drive went totally down. And I didn't understand that.
Yes,
at the time. But he never communicated that to me either. So how would I know?
Right. But that goes back to also knowing yourself, right? What can I do to, when I was married, I had to think about everything that I was responsible for just on my job, and the lives that I was responsible for on my job, right? So I had to learn how to decompress before I got to the house. Why? Because it's unfair to my then wife, and also it's unfair to my child to give them subpar when I've been giving my all throughout the day. So even though that we do go out in the world and we fight these battles, you have to have a time period that you decompress before you get to the house. Mm-hmm. Because if you're truly being the king of your castle, then you know that you must also come into the house, because everybody within the house gonna want to spend time with you. That's your child or children, and that is your spouse. They all gonna want their time. And it's no different than if the spouse if your wife or your husband is outside the house, it's no different for them too. And you have to communicate, and that's where that you I like what Yonci said, is that you relieve all assumptions by simply communicating. Hey babe,
Mhm.
let me get about 10 minutes. um because yes, I drove home, and while I was driving home, I was decompressing, or I was releasing everything. But let me get about 10 more minutes before I can do anything. And then it's also knowing that your spouse is coming home from whatever kind of day that they had, because if you are communicating throughout the day, then it's making something special for them at the house, so when they do get home, it makes it actually makes the situation better. It actually speeds up the actual decompressing even more. But you have to know your spouse, and knowing your spouse is, as I say, that while you're dating and while you're courting, you know you don't ever stop taking notes. You don't ever stop noticing the little changes with the person that you are with. And when you get to the point to where you stop recognizing the small little changes, or hey, I did this today and I know that she didn't react like she normally or react. Okay, so let me see how can I can so let me see how I can bring up a question somehow that's not offensive to her, and that won't put her on the defense, so that she can tell me what that she's going through. So you have to be able to sense those are things.
Right, but it leads to her being turned off. Like I agree with Willie said. Like after a while, he noticed a change in her. Like, he noticed a change in her. And of course, if you're so used to your man paying you mine, and now, okay, I know when a man's slaying dragons, when he's in his purpose, you got to have an understanding. Okay, he needs to do this for us or his children, or if you meet a man who already have children or child support, whatever, we already know all those things. But my thing is, like you said, if they don't communicate, how would you know? But don't wait until you see that I'm slipping away and you see things are changing as far as us being physical and communicating. Now you're like, hold up. Now you're ready to jump on a bandwagon. Like, let me fix this.
I didn't peep it until my iPhone was locked out for 3 hours, and it was in the shower up under some dirty towels. Like I had no idea. That's when I figured out that she thought something was up.
And
Because
I was accused.
yeah, there's no way you can decompress until that situation is resolved.
Hmm.
That's
I
how
mean,
you end
but
up staying in those situations. If you try to decompress and take breaks, like why, like what's one of the only things that Mr. Mustache Potato Head Man said that I agree with, Steve Harvey, excuse me, is that you're saying if you're going through hell, why stop?
Hmm.
Like you don't stop while you're in hell, you stop on the outside of it. Like once you get
Wow.
entangled. So trying
Exactly.
to decompress while you're still in the middle of whatever it is you're going through, you don't have that luxury.
It
And seeing how that affected my woman in hindsight is, something that I'm not going to try. Well, I have made a concerted effort to not do again. But now, also I can't excuse me, I can't mess my money up like that. So,
it's so
Yes,
interesting you
but we
said that.
also have to learn how to communicate to our because she's there as another mind, as another brain. When we learn how to communicate, babe, this is what I'm going through.
Hmm.
I need your input. How can you help me? And that's where we as some men, not all men, that's where we have failed at, because we don't want to feel quote unquote weak. We
We.
don't want to feel inadequate, is
Hmm.
that we don't want to bring those things to our woman when
I
that's
was
what
just
she's
gonna
there for.
say.
but
That's what
but
she's there
Isaac, you
for.
gotta remember, as growing up, we tied our masculinity to our sexuality. It was all about how many women you slang, how many women did you knock down, how long were you, did you do this and all that. So when you get older, yes, there ought to be a level of maturity that says I don't do like I used to, but it is also some insecurities that you deal with that, and you want to set, and you don't know how to even communicate that to your partner to say, babe, I'm so stressed out right now. The last thing I want to do is do that. I really just want to just go sit in the corner and
Hmm.
twiddle my thumbs.
because we also don't want to scare our women. Imagine a
And
man
yeah.
coming to you as a woman,
Right.
ladies. Your man coming to you saying, "Babe, I just lost X amount of millions of dollars on this deal I thought." Like that's going to terrify any
Yeah.
woman on earth. Period. And one of the things that men are supposed to do, and how I was raised specifically, is when we go through stuff, we're not supposed to let our women feel that.
Right.
Job as protectors and providers is to keep her from those things. The only reason why I wanted to talk about it and saw that I should was because it was affecting her and I had allowed it to, so I owed her the explanation. If I had been a better communicator saying, "Babe, it's not that, it's not you," and I had got in front of it, I would have never told her the depths of what I was going through because, again, I don't want her worrying about, oh, well, dang, I may actually have to pay a bill for the first time ever. Or I may not be able to. We have trips and a lifestyle that we live. And regardless of how down a woman is with a man, having to scale back in a lifestyle is going to create a feeling of uncertainty. I'm not going to say resentment. I won't say anything that it's going to be negative, but she is going to note that. And as a man, that is something we worry about. The same way we didn't want to disappoint our fathers or mothers as kids with bad grades, referrals, and report cards. As a man level, I don't want to come here and tell this lady like, "Hey, so I sold my company, took all the money from my company, put in some crypto. It's down right now. So I know I said we are going to get a car for your birthday, but instead of getting a this, you got to get a Benz."
Okay, but I would definitely say that's an assumption that we make. That we feel
Agreed.
Of
that
course, there's no
that
argument
in
there.
our mind that if I go to appear weak in front of the woman that is entrusting me with this, that she's gonna uh down me. No, what I've learned in my 52 and a half years of living is that the more we communicate, the more that we share, the more acceptable that she is. And as I said to a friend the other night, is that is that is that the reason why that we make it hard because we don't realize that we want the same things. And because the fact we can't simply realize that we want the same things is that we start making assumptions and then we start acting according to our own assumptions when the person is sitting directly in front of us and all the only thing we need to have is a simple conversation. And it starts by asking an open-ended question. And when you get into the emotional intelligence of the relationship, then you would find that things are so much more easier just by simply sharing. And then the woman in your life or the man that's in your life can actually give you insight to something that you completely have overlooked if you just simply share. And that's where we both, men and women, both get it wrong, is that when we start making moves based on the assumption of what we think the other person is going to feel when we have the opportunity to simply just ask them.
If you know
We already know
about what they think, that's fair for any person in a relationship. I'm not speaking for anyone. I'm using my specific situation. It was a very educated guess that if I told my ex what had happened, she would have she'd have freaked out. And
that might be true for you and your ex. Like, I don't know that person. I can't speak to that situation. But
let's generalize it then, because the general opinion is going to do that.
We know that something's going on. We can sense. We can see.
A lot of money. Generally speaking, people will freak out. If you lose your job, it's a deal. Imagine someone losing like a job, or excuse me, using a business.
Scary. I absolutely agree with you that it is scary, but we can see that something is happening. We can see that you're involved. And if the questions don't get answered about what's happening, that's when assumptions start happening. That's when the questions come up. Are you cheating, or what else is going on? And from my perspective, because I don't want to generalize, We want to be helpful. We want to contribute. We want to be that help me. We want to be like, all right, let's strategize together. Like, you can let me help you see what I'm seeing, or think of suggestions or whatever. You can be the man, you can lead, you can implement the things, but let me maybe help you think this through from a different perspective. Or if you don't want to buy me this car, you want to buy me that car, or babe, we don't even need a car right now. Given our other financial priorities, buy me a car next year. Like, we can, and then it's a partnership.
Yep.
And I think I want to add this middle ground, because I hear what Willie's saying and I agree with what he's saying. I hear what Isaac is saying and I agree with what he's saying. I think there's a middle ground. I think that there is an extent to which, as women, in our core, subconsciously or not, we want our man to have it together. We want to feel like we can go to sleep in the past, on the plane, and not be worried what's happening in the cockpit. We want to put our headphones in, get our little blanket, have our snacks, and go, like, that's the ideal. So I think it's noble and admirable for a man to want to weather the storm, or be more to get the brunt of what's going on. I find that to be very admirable. And I think that the compromise is maybe not go into depths, but say, babe, this week is going to be kind of hairy. This week, I don't want you to think anything, is wrong with us. It's definitely not, but I have a hectic week. And that will still allow him to have that, keep his pride. What were we going to say, Willie?
That's space.
Yeah. And the other,
that's what I wish I had
the other part is, most men feel calmer when they've gotten a handle on it. With women, we tend to feel calmer by verbalizing it. And we might have talked and hashed it out for an hour, not gotten anywhere, but we feel better. Like, whew. And you said to me, it's going to be okay. Da, da, da. From what I've researched and heard, men feel better when they have had a chance to strategize. So I think that the compromise, at least for me, if it was my guy, I would say, babe, let me know when you have a heavy weight on you. And when you're ready to talk, I'm here for you. And this happened recently. I could tell by his responses. He was talking to his mom on the phone, and I could tell that someone passed away. And so, of course, my nosiness, I wanted to know who it was, and I wanted to comfort, and but I thought, let me do what's best for him. And I said, it sounds as though you guys lost somebody. Can I support you more by being here and listening to you share, or would you like space? And there have been times that he said, I absolutely want you to be here and I want to talk about it. And this particular time he said, I would like some space. And then when he was ready and he wanted to spend time with me, we did something totally different and watched a movie or whatever. And eventually I found out, who the person was. But I think we have to also be sensitive, because we tend to look at things as women, how we would do them, and men do that probably the same thing as how they would do it with men. But understand that thing that is confusing is also the thing that makes us so attracted to them. And that's also their demonstration of love. So I hope I explained it in a way that makes sense. Sometimes men have to do things that seem harder in order to maintain that masculine frame. And then the irony, because I remembered, I'll leave it at this because I know I'm being long-winded. It was so interesting. A guy said, you want us to be emotional, show our emotion, not emotional. You want us to show our emotions, but there is an extent to which the woman will be turned off. And I had to be honest with myself. And I was like, that's true. If I was hysterical, if we couldn't pull it together, I'd be like, bro. So we have to give them that flexibility. Thank you guys.
Also, I don't think women necessarily understand the vast personalities that women can have. So even though the women on the stage can be like, yo, I'm ride or die, I'm sleeping with you in a cardboard box, there are a lot of women who will hear that and can't help but to worry. Like, for example, his case is very unique, right? If any person tells you they put all their money into crypto from their profitable company and they lost it, they're going to think that you're crazy. And even if it's hard to, especially with something as new as crypto, it's like, are you out of your mind? You put our livelihood into this, right? So that's a unique situation where if he was able to bounce back from that, because a lot of people don't. A lot of people put their money in crypto, they don't never get back on, because they was never supposed to have that money anyway, because they weren't that type of guy. But a lot of women don't have that personality of, hey, how can I support you? Like, what can I do? How can I can I put a work shirt on too? Like, a lot of women aren't like that. And that's not to say that they're bad women, right? In this aspect, you guys are probably more supportive as partners and willing to do more, Like, there are some men who won't necessarily want to, if his woman needs a little bit more help around the house, maybe he's like, yo, I pay the bills. Like, I don't want to, some people are different. So, yeah.
Can I say, because Willie was married, I guess nobody go by what the pastor said about the thickness and health, sickness and health, richer or poorer. I guess
No, it's not even realistic.
right?
The divorce statistics don't even say that's even realistic. So no,
Relationships are conditional.
Yeah, that's the marriages are businesses, and given that I had just made a terrible business decision, I thought that I was going to keep that to myself. But, and just to be clear, like we weren't, I'm saying, like I didn't put all of the money that I had, just all of the money from this one specific transaction,
right,
into it. So yeah, I've never been that irresponsible.
I want to address this comment that says, why are we in a relationship if you feel you can't communicate or trust me to receive the information well? But I don't think that it's black or white. That's the thing. I think it sounds black and white, like tell me or don't tell. I see a nobility to the man doing that. I see a nobility, and I also see there as an opportunity to communicate. I'm looking at myself. I don't want to know if the ish hit the fan. I'm just being honest.
Without a plan to fix it, at least.
Right. I would like to know after you come up with the strategy. I would like the conversation. Hey, baby, I lost all of this. However, I've lined up this, this, and this. Okay. I remember Willie and I were actually working on a project. I'm not going to give a lot of details. We were working on a project and there was a route we were going to go. And I remember this was so small of an example, but he said, hey, we're not going to go this route, but this route is actually going to be phenomenal. And that's like a small scale version of like, if he had just been like, hey, we're not going to go this route, that might be tough to hear. But the fact that he approached me after he had a different plan in place, and I actually thought the second route was better. I don't want to be in the kitchen. I don't want to see you mixing all the ingredients. To me, that's a luxury to say that, to be in that space. I would rather not be in the kitchen. I'd rather, when it's cooked, come out. But if you say, look, I'm in the kitchen a little longer today, okay, cool. That's just me. I don't see it as you not trusting me. I see it as you shielding me from unnecessary gray hairs. Because right now I don't have to dye, and I'm trying to keep it that way.
Yonci, but that also attributes to the man being a leader. So because a leader is always thinking of a plan for unexpected situations, right? So let me ask this question. Yonci, you just answered it, so you don't get the answer. To the other three ladies, how would you handle if the guy in your life came to you and said, this happened, this is why it happened, these are my thoughts into correcting it, or these are my thoughts into moving forward?
I'll be fine.
Can we add context and say that he pays for everything and you don't like you completely relying on him?
See, I think the issue with this conversation is very subjective and dependent on the type of woman you have and the type of relationship you have. Because one, and I kind of agree with, is it Trace? Why would we be in a relationship with someone that you can't trust? Because to me, it's a partnership. And the type of man that I'm going to be with, I know how he particularly thinks. I know he's a leader. So I'm not gonna have, to answer Isaac's question, I'm not gonna have it with it because one, I am contributing to the household because it is a partnership, but I am also allowing him to lead too. So I get the noble part of it, but we're in modern times now. Um, and we need to understand, well, I can't say we need, but we need to come to a place where there's an understanding that women are here to help. Like, we want to help, be a partner to you. We do not I'm not old. I'm not traditional. You know, I want to help you. I understand what the world is bringing to you. So let me help. But the only way I can help you if you communicate.
What happens when you trying to help makes things worse because it's a
That's
problem
what I was trying to. Okay.
that there's a
Well,
problem that you have, that a problem that a man has that you can do nothing about. Talking to you only makes two people stressed out now instead of one. And unfortunately, generally speaking, and I'm not saying all women, but a lot of times when you tell your woman something bad has happened, her reaction to it, her questions she asks, don't do anything but make things worse for
Freak
that
you
man.
out.
but it's called emotional intelligence.
Well,
So if
no,
you
it's
have
called emotional. It's actually called
if
situational
you
experience,
have emotional intelligence and be self-aware of who you are and who that person is, I have emotional intelligence.
right?
So in the partner, I want the person who I'm with to have that same emotional intelligence. So it won't be any blow ups and I won't be stressed out because I understand that life happens.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question. If there was a situation, and I want to give context because context is so important, because someone's like, I don't want to just look up and everything has hit the, we're just out. So I'm not talking about a situation where he's being so egotistical and prideful that you don't know anything until they come to repossess the house. Like they're beep, 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 and the truck's back in. I'm not talking about that extreme. I'm talking about something crazy happened Monday and it took him Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday to figure out a solution and they told you Thursday. That's the type of situation I'm talking about, where I'm leaving him space to still have his pride, to still have his process, go through. I'm minding my business. I'm still holding down my stuff. Now, if he gets to my thought is common sense says, yes, if he gets to a point where it's like, oh my God, I cannot find a solution, that's where I would want to be brought in. But to me, that's the purpose of having those layers, in the same way that there are certain things I'm going to tackle before I bring him in. So I'm not talking about the house is on fire and he doesn't say anything and I just come home to ashes. It's kind of like, crap, this porch is on fire. I'm a spray. But as if it keeps going out of control, then I'm going to bring her in. I'm not just saying like he just
Yonci, you said something earlier that I think is really important. When you went to Monty, you were like, okay, do you want space or do you want to be able to talk about it? The way we can show up and help, it can be different. It's situational. It can be you have to know your partner. You have to know the situation. Sometimes it's not about advice. Sometimes it's just about giving him someplace to lay his head and say, I got you.
Bingo.
Let's keep going. Like it's going to be different, or the type of support we can provide.
Exactly.
And I will agree with you on that, because when he lost his job, there was nothing I could do. We had just met, finally had our first meeting in person, and they did him super duper dirty. And so I felt helpless being all the way in California. So I jumped on a plane and I was like, I can't help you. I can't pay your bills, but I can be there to just be there emotionally. And he really needed that. But he allowed me in.
Yes.
I was able to move
even
forward.
in that small amount of time, you learned that though.
Exactly.
That's the point that I'm so watch this. Yonci, you just proved my point. If he had not communicated that to you,
right,
and if you had not been doing your homework on the man that's in your life, you would not have known how to do that.
But this is where I don't think it's a conflict. What I'm saying is he was allowed the space to choose when to tell me.
Right. So,
and that's all I'm saying is that let a man have that.
1000% agree with that.
Okay.
But that's why I say that when you know the person that you're with, if you are cultivating the man and the woman that's in your life, which meaning the woman is cultivating the man that's in her life, the man is cultivating the woman that's in his life. You're cultivating each other. You should be able to just pick up on clues and know how to move just by those are clues. And Yonci, and what I'm saying, even though that you allowed him space, but the emotional intelligence said, I can't do nothing, but let me be there for him. Exactly. That sometimes means so much more than you ever saying anything.
And I guess this is where there's the disconnect. all I was speaking to is defending men and their desire to want to wait until they tell. So this was from attacking a man for having that process versus just accepting that's his process. So I'm not disagreeing with you should tell your person how, find out how they want to be. All that. We don't disagree on that. The only piece was the visceral reaction I saw some of the women having, which is how dare he not tell me if the ultimate goal is to be there and support your man. Sometimes supporting him is staying out of it until he's ready to tell you and not forcing him. So at the end of the day, it nets that the guy is taking care of. So I got to cut here because we're actually at the top of the hour. Thank you, Somalia, for the super chat. I really appreciate that. I am going to rush through these church announcements real quick because the conversation was juicy, so I just didn't want to end it. But let me go ahead and take this. I hope you guys did enjoy the show. Please consider becoming a patron. I'm put my Patreon here. There is a lot of stuff that I do for my patrons, and the support that comes from that platform literally funds things like being able to do the StreamYard and all that, which I'm gonna just be honest, it's $50 a month. Okay, so that stuff adds up. A lot of things I do cost money, so we're just keeping it a buck. And so on there, you guys can promote yourselves. You can put your picture up. We do birthday shout outs. We do fitness. Each day, I know for me, it's very motivating to be able to brag and say, hey, I did 2 miles today. I did this today. There's a ton of stuff that we do in there. We have a lot of events in the Dallas area. And then we have our big event. We don't say where it is, people. We have our big event that's coming up that I know Lynette had already gotten tickets for, and a couple people. We are doing it really, really, really big. And so this is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to film it. There's going to be a lot of FOMO if you don't go, because you're going to go, I can't believe I didn't go to this. My goal is to be able to have a hybrid between the online virtual experience and in person. I think that social media is great to an extent. And at some point, let's get together. Let's be in person. And there's not tons of pressure of having to meet your person. Sometimes you could meet a girlfriend. Jessica and Lynette might hit it off. And you know what? We have totally same mindset, or we live in the same area. I just want to bring people together. So absolutely come together. What were you going to say, Willie?
No, you said meet a girlfriend. I was like, whoa.
Oh, female friend, a friend who is
female friends.
Thank you for clarifying, Willie. And it was so beautiful. You guys probably saw, but one lady was like, I'm so nervous to buy my ticket because I don't know anyone. And I think it might have been Lynette who was like, girl, if I'm there, you're not alone. It was so sweet to see everyone rallying. And this is why it's good to have jump on these things, the Zoom mingles that we have once a month, these conversations, because you start to recognize people. And I've done, like I said, I've done this for years with my Facebook community. And when you finally meet in person, nobody would know that this is the first time you're meeting offline. So I highly recommend getting out if you want to meet people. This would be great. I knew you were going to do that, Willie. I was like, I know you. And I might get away with it tonight because Monte is fishing, so I know I'm not cutting into cupcake time.
I know you're fishing. I know you're fishing. That's why I was saying.
Y'all, have you ever been on a live shoot with Willie? He's trying to start stuff, y'all. He's trying to see if we could get extended. So the last time I said we're gonna cut it off. If anyone does a super chat, I forget what amount I said, then we'll go. And then it got to the point where I was like, okay, that's enough. Because it was like, y'all had me on to.
What's the amount for tonight?
Oh Lord.
I think last time Willie ended up doing like a half hour to an hour.
Man, last time we went live, I gave like $500. So I mean,
yeah.
So.
And then I was sick because I was like, oh, YouTube takes a lot. Okay.
You wish you took that nap today.
That part. Goodness gracious. Okay, so I will say this. For if you guys want to do 30, because people might not want to stay. If y'all want to do another 30 minutes, I'll put it on the table for 50. Doesn't have to be 50 from one person, but collectively 50, and then we will stay for another 30 minutes. I know for East Coasters it is already 10, so I don't know who wants
I just mailed it to you, so we good.
Bruh. Okay, hold on. We didn't even take a vote.
Willie already just started.
I'm saying, you know, Willie always
on there. Okay, he's not playing. Okay, she said I will stay. Anyone else who is a patron? Anyone who in the comments? Are there any patrons in the comments? Because you guys are welcome to come on the platform and share your thoughts. We will continue. And also, this is the time, since we're going to do 30 more minutes, the first person to ask a juicy question, I will put that up. So anybody have a juicy question? Of course, on the panel, you could ask your question. You are out of control. Thank you, sir. Oh my God. You can't, he's that type of person you can't tell nothing to. Yep, there it goes.
I just want to
I
plug
don't go
you
to strip
because
clubs, so I got to figure
I
out
think
how other
being a
ways to
part
find.
of the Patreon is well worth the investment.
Mhm.
It is great to be able to get a woman's perspective on relationships, and being a man who had 5 brothers and no sisters, and then 3 of my brothers had 5 boys, and we didn't have a girl in the family for a very long time. It brings about a different atmosphere. So I just would say to anybody who even question, it is well worth the investment and just to get the insight.
Thank you. Y'all, I did not pay him to say that.
No, you
Thank
did
you.
not.
Yeah, imagine for singles going being able to have an app or somewhere where they can go and meet with other people, and then the person at the helm of that ship is someone who takes the things directly from men and then makes it palatable for women. For example, say imagine if there was someone who would like have converted or translated the things Kevin Samuels was saying about men to women in a way that wasn't abrasive, rude, disrespectful, or require women to tone police them. And when you picture that, that's exactly what Yonci does. So her platform being, saying, with full of vetted, non-catfish people that are active and participate. I mean, shit, you really can't do much better than that, especially for $15. Like 15 phone gas dollars, like I could give her 20, 25, 30. You know what I'm saying? So like I tell her all the time, you got to up your price. So the fact that she keeps her prices down is definitely not because she doesn't have people like me, Monte, and other people that are around her telling her you need to be charging. I mean, I'm from Dallas, so everybody in Dallas know what you can get for $40. So I'm saying if you can willing to spend that to meet a group of people that you might be able to connect with, even if on a platonic level, I think it's a great investment.
I appreciate that.
Are you still in the? Are you still in the area?
Yeah, you can see where I'm at. Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah. Hey, you were supposed to hit me up so that we can.
Yeah, I got
No,
the event is in August. So yeah.
Wait a minute. We can't be putting people on blast.
Yeah.
We can't.
The event's not until August. I ain't forget about you.
Okay. Yeah, we definitely can't. We'll have to do that offline. Thank you so much, DS, for the $9.99.
That's sick. It's like $1 a minute.
I forgot we're adding time on. Oh, geez. Oh, Lord. Okay, let me keep track of this. All right. So
that's our 40 minutes so far.
Okay. And I think I just heard him come in from fishing. So y'all, I mean, I'm just gonna have to pull the girl.
I'm gonna text him right now.
Be like, she's making money. Stay outside.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Y'all are so wrong.
Feel free to put your questions. By the way, I'm curious, put DFW in the comments if you guys are in the DFW area. We just had a really fun event. We did a pub crawl it was Cinco de Mayo, but it was the day before. So it's technically Cuatro de Mayo. And so I would love for you guys to be able to come out and do things, just come do things in the Dallas area. There's a lot of great people. When I've done surveys, there are a ton of people. So let me know who is on YouTube who is in the DFW area. And yes, that's a great idea, Willie. Have her ask the question. Tri said, enjoy the topics. Excuse me, definitely learning every time we talk. As women, we are willing to tell our men things, so we want the same return. But here's another situation where men and women differ again. Any questions? How important is it for a man to be healed and healthy before getting in a relationship? All right, keep those comments coming, y'all.
You can't. That's like it's almost as important as a man to not be broke while he's dating. Like imagine trying to date somebody that's dealing with issues from 3 women ago, or a man, he's got to deal with the issues from a woman, like from the ghosts of 3 niggas past. That's crazy. So like being healed should be like mandatory for any adult to date. Like taking a bath, brushing your teeth. All of those things should go hand in hand.
And Candace, you have to be able to identify it, because I've met a couple guys who think that they're healed and healthy, and they will argue you down that they are.
No, their
And
therapist got to tell them that.
so it's very important for your mental health to be able to get that discernment of a healed and happy person, and don't go off of their words. Pay attention to their actions.
I was gonna say, I wish that there was a like a, what is it called, like a feedback chamber where people could come in and tell folks about themselves. Because if you leave it up to that person, oh, all my exes are crazy, or da 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 da, and then I think we need the community to be like, look, this is how you present. Willie be getting on guys, because if they say, oh, I only have these experiences, he'll be the first to be like, bro, you might need to look internally then.
Right. Absolutely.
Hey, you tell me you got 5. The common denominator between you and them 4 ain't SHIT women is you,
exactly.
My boy. So,
right.
Candace, I know, I don't think, I know that a healed man moves completely different.
Yeah.
He moves no different than a healed woman moves completely different. And even if you have met them at the end of their healing journey, they just move completely different.
Yes.
And you just can't, there, it takes more than the average just to woo them, in other words. And they come with such a strong substance that you know that you should be able to recognize immediately that the person is a healed, because everything about them is just full of substance.
Any other questions, y'all? Any other questions? You know what I can also do to kind of get some of these questions going? Because we started with this past week, but of course we've got 125 questions on Patreon. So I'm going to look to see some of the juicy ones that I liked.
Hey, Yonci, I got one.
Okay.
Hey, you better put in on this.
Hey, Willie.
The young lady that said that she's dating a guy for 3 weeks.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that. Actually, no, that was supposed to be is address the submitted question. So let me actually make a note. I felt like there was something that I was missing and I couldn't remember. So that's what we'll do for the remainder of these 40 minutes. Y'all got me starving out here. Okay.
DoorDash.
You said Jordan. No, I got food. I just gotta go downstairs and heat it up. Actually, yes. A whole bunch of stuff.
I left a comment about that one, and I said, "Girl, stop." Okay, I said she really don't know herself.
Let's read the question first. Okay. So this was posted 3 days ago. She said, "Good afternoon, Miss Yonci. I have a dilemma. I recently met and began dating a wonderful man, going on 3 weeks. He's well-mannered, chivalrous, and consistent. The problem is I feel zero chemistry with him. We don't share the same beliefs spiritually. Our interests are different. He likes skateboarding and Lollapalooza. I like library and old school R&B. I like the library and old school R&B. He's an herbalist and pescatarian. I believe in Western medicine and I love meat. Pause. On some level, I feel this may be self-sabotage, as I've had some past bad partners and relationships, but I feel nothing when I think of him or am around him. I try to avoid talking to him because I find our conversations to be endless small talk, and I don't look forward to physically being around him. He's handsome, but the thought makes me nauseated. But he's so nice to me. Should I trust myself and cut out now, or try to give myself time to feel chemistry? I'm going to go warm up a plate, and I will come back in. Y'all talk amongst yourselves.
Yes. So I said, girl, stop. You don't even know yourself. Because if you truly know yourself, then you wouldn't be asking this frivolous question.
Right.
I can't say the word that I want to say, but I'm just going to say frivolous question that you are asking. Because number one, just because the fact that you like things differently doesn't mean that, oh, the person like we got naked. You just like different things. If I like sports and you don't, you like basket weaving, we just like different things. So we're gonna eliminate that. You just threw that in there just for s and giggles. Okay. But then for you to say that we don't align spiritually, I think that's where you should have stopped at. And then why are you even in a relationship with someone that you said
It's
you
not
have
in a
zero
relationship. They
chemistry?
dating for 3 weeks, bro.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Why are you in a relationship with someone for 3 weeks, wasting his time,
It's not a
and you have
relationship.
It's
zero
all in her head.
Like that woman is that lady literally is dating a white guy, her very first one, and just realized she has nothing in common with
You
him.
know what?
That's
You
literally
know
all that-
what?
We don't know if she's
That's
white,
my
black, or
man,
Asian.
Willie.
Really? No, he
Unicorn.
doesn't have
I
no.
will bet you whatever you want to bet. That is exactly what happened.
That's
'Cause look at
unfair,
what she
Willie.
said.
Willie, that's
She
unfair.
said
We
She
don't
just
know.
wasn't interested in him
Lollapalooza.
like that.
But
And
then,
she was caught up in being nice. And a lot of, well, I can't speak for a lot of women, but I've been there where the person was really nice and you're like, oh, they so nice.
really lovely.
You have nothing in common. You have nothing in common. For her, now I do think for her, she doesn't know what she wants and she doesn't really have any standards. But something in there I did understand with her was the nice part. Just because you nice don't mean that you're compatible with that person.
And she said he was good looking too. So she said
Lovely.
So
I got
a lot of good
hold on.
looking.
Nice,
Hold on. She hit 4 of the top things that women look for.
That's how you know it's a white dude.
Well,
She
we
lists 4 of the top things that women look for, and then she included the word consistent.
Well, so for her, she does have some emotional issues there that she needs to work on. I definitely agree with that part of it. But something in there that, like I said, the nice part, a lot of women, well, I can't say a lot, but I know myself, sometimes you can get so caught up in the person being nice that you don't pay attention that that's not the right person for you. You could be a nice person and
I'm sorry.
Skateboarding and Lollapalooza. I'm not trying to.
Still on this man.
I'm not even worried about
have
that.
Those same 4 dudes. You're gonna have a dude with all them 4 traits. All of those 4 traits that all 3 of you women would love to have in a partner. She led with that, right? But then she put skateboarding and Lollapalooza. I'm not like, I'm old school. So like going back to we used to take the TOS test or the STAR test, the above stated facts have led me to conclude that this is her first white dude. And she's like, you know what?
It could be that too. And using everything else as a scapegoat.
I can't make that up because
she don't want to touch him.
Because my son is an avid.
Is that not something that women say about
I
like
can't make
white
that
dudes? They can't see themselves, dealing with what's like uncooked sausage compared to what they're used to. That's a lot.
She might care too much about.
Oh God, I can't.
No, I'm sorry.
Really,
I am on the side of
I'll pay for it.
Woman just don't know herself. Period.
She don't.
Period. And if she's watching,
I'll let Yonci tell her in private. Like Yonci, listen, get a girl $100 to answer this question. Are you talking about your first white dude or not?
Okay. What difference does the race?
It makes a huge difference because now we're saying that she's trying her first white dude after not getting these things from black men. She switched sides finally and just went over there and saw that, you know what, this grass is definitely it's not greener. It's a little extra mayonnaise over here, and she doesn't like it. That is all. Because so I don't want to call the girl dumb, but on the post I did. I said, how about you just date somebody that likes you or that you like? And then this is like, I want my 9 seconds back from reading this. But then after talking about it with somebody else in the post, I'm like, this sounds like awfully lot like someone dabbling in their very first interracial situation because they don't have anything in common now. Their conversations are endless about nothing. And no disrespect, Lollapalooza and skateboarding are 2 of the whitest things since like loving blue cheese dressing. So I've never in my life.
Hold on, Willie. I like blue cheese.
I like blue cheese on my wings.
Yeah.
And he got 2 black parents.
Hey, listen. You know, we all have white influences. You know, I just chose not to take the blue cheese route. I
Oh
put
Lord.
sunscreen on. Whatever.
Oh
Either
Lord.
way,
I
You're
do
funny to
agree
me,
with the
man.
basically he's not toxic enough because I thought about that first too. That was my first thought was like, oh, she used to a certain type of
She's
dude,
used to it. Yep.
and he ain't hit
You
it.
are saying
I'm not gonna lie, I
that
did
type is
think
black.
that first.
She's looking
You know-
for that anxiety, that
That I thug
mom.
Yeah,
thizzle.
it's
Yeah.
Looking for that thug thizzle.
Yeah,
she
that
had
black man swag.
her attachment style may be like an anxious, avoiding attachment style, or
Yonci, since you're in the comments, I'm putting $100 bounty on the answer to this question. Is the man she talking about white or other?
Let's
he's
go.
still
Ask.
stuck on this
It
white
doesn't
part.
matter. It doesn't. And
I
here's
don't
why:
think it
standards are
cares.
standards. It doesn't matter because standards are standards, regardless of the
Right,
race of the
she don't
person. If
have
she's
any.
not connecting with him, then it's not going to work, and she needs to learn how to cut that
Yeah.
person out,
Right, 'cause-
regardless of the race. If it ain't there, it ain't there.
Yeah, because
I
being
wonder.
him, I would not want to be him and continue to be nice and go to skateboard parks and stuff, and then she not into me. I'd
But
rather
is she
her
faking
just
it when she
cut me
with him
off
though?
and say, huh?
I'm wondering, does she fake it when she's with him?
He
I
is
don't know.
faking it. That's
And
what
Because
maybe
I'm
she
gonna
might,
say yes.
for the lack of not being by herself, she's spending time with him. Because
So
I've
I'm gonna
been
say
with
yeah that she's
situations.
faking it, bro.
Yeah.
she's
I mean,
You know why?
we all.
Because they still kicking it.
right.
So
Yeah, she's
then my
definitely
question will be, does that make her a user?
Yes, 100%, hands down. Because for you to say I have no chemistry and I do not want to be around him,
Let it go.
that's what she said.
There she
Yeah,
You
go.
have
that's true.
officially been dubbed a gold digger.
Yep.
Well,
Wait,
now
wait.
we
How
don't
is she
know
a
if
gold
she's a
digger, bro? He
gold
ain't
She
digger.
paying for
ain't
nothing.
say nothing about him
But
spending a
he
lot of
he
money.
might not be a
Hey,
gold digger.
Whoa.
I think
which
with
mean
her
it is,
is
which,
she likes the
because,
attention that she's
which,
getting from him.
which mean it is, you are now robbing this man of everything that he's giving you, and you don't want it. It's not something that you desire. He is not the person that you desire to be receiving it from.
Robbing means taking something. She's not forcing him to do anything.
Yes,
If
she
he asks
is.
her
She
out
is
and
because
she
she's
says
robbing
yes
him of
and
his
she shows
time
up,
No, she's
and
taking
They
his
robbing
do
money,
him
it
not
of
all
his
the time.
appreciating
time to
him.
They
go
do
and
it
be
all the
with
time.
somebody else. Because I'm
there you
pretty
go.
sure he is under the impression I still have a chance.
There,
And
I'm
as
just
there you
long
go,
as I
Willie.
still
saying
got a chance, I'm gonna still shoot my shot. And
that
until
man.
she say, listen, you ain't got nothing coming, and we gonna be just I'm gonna put you in the major friend zone. And then I bet you he'd be like, all right, then he might
That
not
See,
say
boy's
well,
yes,
parents'
he
name
might
was
but he
think
might
that
Ken
say,
she
all
like
right.
Style.
both of them. He might know, but feel like after it's only been 3 weeks. After time, it might change. She might feel the same way.
I think this guy's name is Thaddeus, but all right.
Is that even a white name?
One of the whitest.
That
Thaddeus.
Sound like Southern to me.
is?
Yes,
Nah,
that's
Willie is funny to me, man.
Bentley.
he's still caught up on this name. The shit.
I'm
I would
telling you,
suggest
I'm
that
not
But she
wrong.
is.
I'm willing to die on this. I'm gonna pay to get this answer.
And so when you get your answer, what exactly do you want? I was
Oh, I
right.
don't want anything. I just want to make sure that I'm not crazy because Lollapalooza and skateboard parks. I'm not trying to be funny. I don't know a black man that wants to go to both of those things.
If he grew up in a predominantly
certain type
white
of neighborhood,
area,
yeah.
he would.
my
And they
son.
sound young.
Yeah,
Maybe she's younger.
Yeah, because it's
due to the
different now.
lifestyle that I afforded my son, we were in the majority all white neighborhoods. So
Yeah, that's how you can. Because my son's
honestly,
like some stuff that
my
I don't
son
think.
likes stuff. I'm like, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and I'm looking at him like, dude, you know you got black parents, right?
But when your kids are raised in the suburbs and around predominantly white people, then that's
Exactly.
Now,
what happens.
if that was your son and he came to you and say, hey, I'm going out with this woman and I don't know if she really likes me or not.
Cut her off, son.
What kind of advice are you giving to him?
Well,
Or
one,
on the flip side, if that
I'm
is your daughter
Leave her alone, baby girl.
What are you saying to your daughter to say why you using him? I mean, or what would you say to your daughter if your daughter came to you with this same information and said, he's nice, he's providing all of this, but I don't have nothing interested? What
I'm
would you
roasting
say
her.
to your daughter?
I'm clowning because now I don't have to be gentle. I'm be like, this is a dumbass question to have to ask me, baby girl. And if you don't like that, man, leave him alone.
But are we molding our kids? Because me and my son, he's 13, and we have conversations about the type of woman that he would like and things like that. So I don't think I think he'll know, with his 3-day relationship he just got out of.
How long was it?
It was 3 days. It was 3 days, and
But to middle school, that's
That's a
it
lot.
will be
That's
long
a
term.
long time.
Okay.
he sent me a picture. He was like, "I like her. What you think?" And then I said, "If you like her, why you like her?" He said she's smart and all this stuff like that. But then after I got the Takis that he wanted to surprise her with, and he saw her cheating,
He
How
was
was
hurt
she
too, wasn't he?
cheating?
He was hurt too, wasn't he?
he said that he kept his Takis and shared it with his best friend.
Oh, good.
And then
Good.
when she tried to come back on that 4th day, he said that you don't deserve me, and we are no longer together.
Thank you.
That's some
Hey,
good parenting.
And
Straight
walked
up.
away.
I have a question. What did the conversation look like when he had it with his dad though? Because we have very different conversations with our sons.
I don't know.
Because
Well, well, I had well, let me since I have a son and a daughter, my son, he and I had very, very straightforward conversations about dating and how that he should treat women. Now, whether he chose to listen to that or not, hey, that was his decision. Um, Now, he's married now, and even with the things that I disagree with, I see him championing through those issues. And even though that he shared them with his mother and I, and we gave our input, but the key input that we gave him, son, this is your life, so you have to make the decision. We can only give you advice based on how that we've done it and based on how that we feel, but this is your life. So the choices and decisions that you make are those choices and decisions that you are going to have to live with. Um, Now my daughter, because she's single, you know, and she's a very beautiful um um young woman, I'm constantly asking her, what are you bringing? What value do you add to a man except for your beauty, your cooking, and what's between your legs?
hey, real quick, Candace had a good question. She said, how long do you date and gather data about someone before you decide to continue or let it go?
As
Jessica,
long as you need to.
Right.
hold on. Jessica, what you think? 'Cause
I do agree with as long as you need to, but what's the conversation like? Are you asking the questions to get to that information, or are you keeping it very surface level? So if she's not sure, if the person who missed 3-week relationship is not sure, how is she collecting more information to find out if this person is the person for her? Or is she just continuing to ask very surface level questions? So I don't think it needs to be very long, but you also have to be intentional with the data that you're collecting.
what about you? What about you, Lynette? How long are you dating? How long are you giving a guy to figure out how long you guys are gonna? How long before you say, hey, look, this might not work for me. I like you, but how much time are you gonna invest in a person before you say, yeah, this ain't it?
I base it on consistency, or how much time, if he's consistent with his approach toward me, and he's consistent with the things we do, and how we're gonna work through it. Like I need to see that you want me as much as I want you, and then the minute I see that it's not equally yoked, then I'm out. I'm gone.
That's a good question. Miss Amanda, how long are you giving a guy before you like, you know what? This Lollapalooza skateboard shit ain't for me.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I know within the first conversation or so if this is the person that I'm going to continue to talk to. I don't need a lot of time. You know, because after a while, once you know what you want and what you're looking for, it don't take that long. So her 3 weeks, to me, from my perspective, her 3 weeks, she knows that he
She
ain't
should have
the one.
Wasting her time and wasting his time.
Yeah.
You know, I could definitely say this. I am very intentional due to my age. I'm gonna hit you hard quick.
Right.
Due to my age, because I ain't got time for the actual games.
Yeah.
With and Amanda, I am like you. Between the first 3 days, I should know something. Between the first 3 days.
What about you, Jay? How long are you giving a young lady to vet her and determine if she's worth, pursuing something with?
I'm giving her about I'm gonna give her a month, to be honest, only because I've met so many ambassadors that it takes a little while to shake off that dust and to see the true person for who they really are. But I'm asking a rack of questions, and I've been accused of almost interviewing um individuals, but it's because I want information. I need information. So I'm going to ask a whole bunch of questions.
All right, I'm
So
gonna play devil's advocate.
Uh-oh.
I'm about to play devil's advocate, and I wish I had remembered to put this the submitted question thing up. So when we go back and watch. So this question is eerily familiar, or it's eerily similar to a situation that I was in years ago. And I'm going to come to her defense because my motives were admirable, and I see a lot of what she's saying in this. And here's the story. There was a guy who saw me on my platform, so he had been around for years. He really, really liked me. And I didn't feel anything just naturally with him. And I remember having this conversation with my dad, and I said, there's this guy, he seems great on paper. He's always a gentleman in the conversation. And, would I be silly to not give him a chance? And so my dad was basically saying, don't overvalue the butterflies and all the physical chemistry and attraction or whatever, and see if there's something there. And he told me stories of women who have missed great guys because they were so worried about the charisma and blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, let me give it a try because I've never tried that before. So we go on a date and had a blast. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad I didn't write him off, blah, blah, blah. But when the end of the night came, when we all know, ladies, what that is, it's like time to kiss.
Y'all know what date stands for.
You stupid. The idea of kissing him was not something that I wanted. So I thought, okay, but this is the first date. Maybe this is the process it takes to like develop those feelings. So I agreed to go on the second date. And I remembered when the end of the night came, I was like, oh God, I hope it's not awkward, but I'm doing everything to not make this, kiss happen. So when the third date came, I was like, okay. And the problem was I had a lot of fun with him. I enjoyed his company. The problem is that I was like, okay, this is the third day. I have to see what it's going to be like. And he's, done all this. I owe him. I feel I owe him a kiss. When I tell you, weeks later we talked because we ended up being in touch for quite a while. He said, "Can I ask you something?" He said, "When I kissed you that day," he said, "I felt your body recoil. What were you feeling?" And I was I was so because I thought I was hiding it, and I guess it was like I was doing it, but I wasn't like, I was just yeah. And there was one other time when I tried to give a guy a chance, and because I kept hearing those stories about people put too much value and emphasis on da 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 da. So I actually don't think that she's a gold digger or she's manipulating him or doing whatever. That's what people say online. Like, you guys are putting too much emphasis on the chemistry, and you shouldn't worry about if he's taller than you, or he only comes up to here on you. Like, you shouldn't worry about these things. Your type is what's keeping you single. Ladies, I'm sure we've all heard
Yes.
those type of comments, right? So for me, I had to go through that experience to realize if it is for me, Lord, you're going to have to make me attracted to you. And I remember thinking when it came to Monte, I said, thank God I'm into you.
Right.
I'm into how you look, how you act, how you like I need that. I cannot sacrifice. And not only do I need that, I actually think it is an injustice to be with a man knowing I'm not feeling that, because he is going to feel that on some way, shape, and form. And when people say that attraction doesn't matter, I say it does if they expect you to sleep with them.
Exactly.
So it's one thing if they're your friend. I don't have to find you attracted to be your friend and enjoy conversation with you. It is another if you say, and I want to, that's just not okay.
Yeah, and just like men look for the visual, women do too. We have to be attracted to you. Yeah.
Yeah. See, so my actual question was it an assumption of you saying that you felt that you had to kiss him? Was he looking for the kiss? Because I can say, and let me speak for myself. I'm not trying to kiss you on the first date, second date, third date, fourth date, fifth date. I'm not. What I attempt to do is for you to be as comfortable as possible, and I don't ever want you to feel that I'm trying that that's what I'm trying to go with you. So I try my best to minimize that. So what made you feel that you had to kiss him, or as if that he wanted a kiss?
I think it was just subconscious where, men do what they do for a end goal. Not to say that I felt like it was against my will and twisted my arm, but I even teach women this. I say, if you look at a man, I'm not saying you drop your pants right there, but I'm saying if you look at a man and the idea of sleeping with him gives you a visceral reaction, the idea of sleeping with him repulses him, do not let him spend a single cent on you. So I have to walk very carefully and tread very carefully. I believe relationships are transactional with men and women. I do. Let's be honest.
Factual. That's factual.
I felt, if I'm thinking this out loud, I felt like he had earned at least a kiss. And if after that point I didn't want to kiss him, I had no business accepting more money from him. More money in the form of his time. Somebody asked, how could you have a great date and not want to kiss them? Somebody can be a great host. I went on well, I should ask this. No, I'll just say this. I went on a double date, and the date was a great date. It was planned well. The energy was awesome. All four people were dope. I didn't want to be in a romantic relationship with the girl, and I didn't want to be in a romantic relationship with the guy who she was on the date with, the double daters. But we collectively had a great date. I mean, I could go on a family date with my boyfriend and my daughter. It doesn't mean I want to be in a relationship with my daughter. So I don't think that a great date means there was romantic connection.
Right.
I think it means the conversation was flowing. Nobody felt weirded out. No one's boundaries were violated. The event itself was fun. The food was great. The atmosphere was killer. To me, that's what makes a great date.
Yes. I always look, when you comfortable enough to try to kiss me, then that's when I would then that's when I will reciprocate.
And if she didn't want to kiss you for 8 months, you wouldn't feel away?
No, I would not.
What?
Because this is a and let me explain to you the reason that I'm like that.
If a man didn't try to kiss me in 8 months, I am not sticking around to find out why.
No,
Exactly.
one of the greatest conversations that me and my dad had was this: son, you don't ever have to ask a woman for anything. She will let you know when she wants it. Period. And that's something that I've lived by, and it's never failed.
But if she didn't want it for 8 months, I'm just saying that's to me a sign. It doesn't take 8 months for water to boil.
To kiss somebody?
Okay.
She could be
Okay,
safe.
so my first wife,
what?
we never kissed,
about?
we never had sex, we never did none of that.
She might be celibate. She feel like once she kissed him,
She needs to express that.
the bedroom.
Yeah.
She had
You need to say that in English.
I
and
think that
in
needs to be
writing.
expressed. If I'm not going to do something that's pretty normal, meaning not normal as in you're abnormal, but common, the common thing. If I'm not doing that, I'm going to express that. For example, I believe in practicing abstinence until marriage, even though I have been divorced. So clearly not a virgin. Sorry, anybody who was disappointed in that. But I I decided to tell that up front.
Well, you got a daughter and you not a virgin? What?
I know. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. My kids weren't adopted. They were created the biblical way. But I let men know that out front. It was like, I mean, it wasn't I'm Yonci and I'm saving myself, but it very quickly came out because if we're not compatible in that way, that is a big deal breaker for some men. So, you know, and if I found out a guy was just like, oh my God, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard, which I heard men say, then thank you. Let me go my own way. Mm-hmm. So I think if a woman was choosing to not kiss until marriage or something like that, like, you know, you hypothesize like maybe because it would just turn her on. I think she should have communicated. But I think in a normal situation, your loins are going to burn for a person if you are vibing.
But that's something that my ex-wife and I, like, we never had sex. We never kissed prior to our marriage.
Bro, I'm 40 years old. My life is half over. Like, I'm getting ready to die. I'm not wasting 8 months of my life with anybody that I don't know that I am compatible. 8 months? Like, that's damn near a year. Not trying to be funny, but women don't even want to be engaged for like a year or two. And we 60% there on that first year, and y'all ain't kissed yet. That lady don't like you.
No, that's not true. That's not true. Because like if she's abstinent or celibate or feel like
I wouldn't argue in the outliers, and that wasn't. I mean, no disrespect to anybody, but I didn't assume that was the case. And if that was the case, that's probably what he would have said. But waiting 8 months to put your mouth on someone's lips above their chin is crazy.
I think it's important to know yourself, know what you're looking for. So when you see it in someone else, you can identify it. Because what I'm hearing is the two of y'all ain't dating the same person. Y'all are just looking for two different things.
Right.
And that's time, y'all. Look at God, won't he do it? An extra 2 minutes.
You got like 19 more minutes.
Wait, was someone else spot? We got the 50 from you and the 10 from old girl, right?
$1 a minute. That's what we had. That's what me and old girl had put it up to.
Yeah, so that would be
$60 for 60 minutes.
Dog, that's 18 more minutes, Yonci. He's right.
Yeah. Oh no, you not got to eat. You took lunch. You like the employee that want to take their lunch at 3:30 so they can leave at 4. You think you slick? You not.
And already packing your purse 10 minutes.
Exactly. You in the car trying to work remote for your last 30 minutes of your lunch break. You're not slick.
But that's key. You know.
Okay, wait. So what are we doing? What are we going to? 50?
Until 11 o'clock.
11.
So wait, an hour.
Who wanted another
50 plus 10 is 60. So that's an hour.
$60 for 60 minutes. It's $1 a minute. That's what the church came through with the tithe and offering.
Wait, you said it 50. You said it $50 is 30 minutes.
I put a $50
no, it's 50
in,
minutes.
and then baby girl put in another 10, so that's $60.
Oh, you determined it was $1 a minute.
That's
what it was. I was like, because I said 30 minutes for 50.
That's what we
you were going.
That's what I was like, mathing is not mathing.
Oh, you were going, so I had to make a Yonci decision. I text you about it though.
That's what I get for walking away and going to eat my barbecue.
Yep. But 8 months is crazy though, because like ladies, if a dude said, "Hey, I'm not gonna be chivalrous or masculine with you for 8 months," or "I'm not going to spend money on you for 8 months," you looking upside his head like, "Well, he will."
I'm not waiting that long to kiss a guy. If the date is well and you smell like candy and you're gonna get that kiss.
Okay, but you have some people that if they kiss, it's like 0 to 100. It's gonna start some stuff. So they prefer not to
self-control.
Facts.
I expect for me to kiss my woman, she'd be like,
you gotta have self-control. You
gotta know yourself though.
Oh.
All right, guys. We have another question. Submitted question number 2. Okay, here we go. I'll put this up. Hello. I was like, is it me you're looking for? No, I was playing. Okay. Hope you have been well. I have, thank you. Blessed and highly favored. I wanted to know if after a couple back and forth messages on a dating app, the guy provides his number without me asking. Should I call or text?
Some of these people ask some of the craziest questions. They haven't
Yeah.
asked some of the craziest questions.
Not judge.
But
You should.
they-
I
I'm
would-
a little crying in my
okay.
DMs because of the way that y'all went in on her.
That
So
lady
No,
wants to just talk to you.
it's
That's
not-
all it was.
You know
She
why?
wanted to have some
Nice
Yonci
to
attention and be
think.
like, oh,
Okay.
Let me ask Yonci a dumbass question in front of her father.
But it's not dumb. Okay, let me tell you why I understand where this person
It is
coming
dumb.
from. It's not me, because y'all know I shoot my shot. But the issue that she's having is society said that a woman is not supposed to call a man first,
Thank you.
text a man first.
you.
Now don't sit there with your arm folded. Now you
Yes, I
already
am.
know
Oh.
this is society. They don't want
Speaking
them,
facts.
because it will be perceived that she's pursuing him.
No.
He made the first step by giving
That
the
is the way
number.
we talk.
Excuse me.
What
Excuse
is
me,
wrong with
ladies.
society
Hey,
got
ladies.
women so far?
Hey, ladies. We
Wait a
have.
minute. What we're not gonna do is cut her off.
Wait, okay, thank you. So let me finish.
Okay.
But the thing is that we were taught that if he was interested, he would have asked her for her number, and then it would have went through that. So she was just confused on what
Agreed.
to do. I give her that. Now, it didn't need to be asked to Yonci. My opinion of it was all she had to do was respond with her phone number
There you go.
and then call it a
And be
day.
done.
Yeah.
Bingo.
That was
Amanda.
him shooting his
Perfect.
shot
Number,
by him
and then
giving
let
the
him take it
phone
from
number. By him
Bingo.
giving her the
If
phone
you
number,
tell
that
me
was
you're
him
hungry
shooting the shot.
and I give you $20 and you go buy and you say, am I supposed to go buy food with this? Like you just told me you were hungry. So again, y'all are hungry. You're on a dating website app. You want to talk, you want to get something to eat, y'all want to talk to each other off the app. He gives you his phone number. I gave you $20 to go get food. If you ask me what am I supposed to do with this, or should I go eat with this $20, I'm gonna look at you like you're crazy.
Thank you.
But you're not looking at the social construct that she's referring to, which
Yes,
is huge.
Yonci.
It's
We
not
skip that part by giving you our number.
no.
Yeah,
If we took out the social pressure, and it was a matter of girlfriends, and Amanda was like, "Hey, we're trying to connect and do whatever," Amanda's like, "Here, Yonci, here's my number." It's a no-brainer. We're not thinking about it at all. But because of the pressure and the expectation that a woman has, she doesn't want to feel like she made the first move. Now, I get what you're saying is that, oh, he made the move by giving that. However, I'm going to side with the ladies on this one and say,
y'all the ones telling them not to call.
We have gotten away from the simplicity of simply offering and you just receiving.
Yeah.
We have gotten away from that. Let's go back to old school when we used to write the little note. Will you be my girlfriend? Yes or no? And you had to
Technology's not gonna let that work. But women tell women not to call men first. Men don't tell y'all that.
What I'm saying is this is removing the pressure from both people. It removes the pressure. In my mind, I'm liking what's being presented in front of me right now. Whether that we're talking online, whether we talking Instagram, wherever that we talking, however we talking. But the moment that I gesture and say, here's my number, call me when you're ready. That's just removing.
That's weird.
The solution this is what the girlfriend talked about. You can reply and say, okay, this is a true story. This is what I said in my chat group, because we have a chat group if you're in my coaching program, and a similar question came up. She said, what is with it on these dating apps where these guys keep sliding their number? It makes me feel weird because I want him to ask for my number. So what we came up with, because we used humor, we said, so he says, here's my number. You go, okay, great. Here's mine. He doesn't have to ask. She just offers it. Okay, great. Here's mine. I look forward to hearing your voice. I wonder if it matches your face, or say something playful that lets him know I would be more comfortable if you called me. Most women in their feminine want the man to call her first and text her first, whether it's an issue that we put on ourselves or not. It makes us feel more feminine. Fight with me if you want. That's just how it feels.
Right.
Look, I'll
themselves,
bet women
if a woman
that
is
will give
telling
me
you that
their
I want
social
to do
media
this,
handle
then you
before
stop
they
it.
ever give me a phone number, and they want to talk to you through social media before they ever give you a daggone phone number.
I've done that too. I'm simply saying, as opposed to a man just giving the number, or he could ask, hey, would you like to exchange numbers? But I'm simply saying, if a guy offered me the number, I would still want him to be the first to reach out once we exchange numbers. So I would just say something back like, okay, great. Thank you so much. Here's mine as well. You know, I'm
Thank you.
available if you want to.
It's just that simple.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
See how we
I'm gonna say-
compromised and it all worked out.
This all reverts back to just liking somebody and dating people that like you. Because I guarantee you, if you like a woman enough, a man doesn't care. If a woman likes a man enough and gets his number, she's not gonna care enough to ask a question about
If
this.
he liked her, he would have asked for a number and called.
Or he was
He gonna
respectful
offer
of her
his.
time and gave him his and said, "Hey, contact me at your leisure. I'll make myself available."
But see, let me tell you my experience with guys who do that. It ain't fair. Because when guys tend to do that, they are very lazy. You end up doing a lot of the work. They're
Man,
not.
put in-
They
That's
not chivalrous.
They are because
That's not chivalrous.
they're
That's
the
not.
ones like, oh, you got my number too. Like it goes both ways.
Yeah, it does.
You end up being a man and he end up being a woman. You change.
Don't say
Ladies,
that.
can you comment?
Don't say you want to be the
me-
man because you text first.
Comment
Like,
me
that's
in the
just
chat
property.
if you have ever had a man say after he doesn't call you or ask you out, well, you got a phone too. Comment me in the let me type it in.
You went from the 100-yard line to the 110 because it's not about setting a date, it's just about simple communication.
No, but that's how
separate
I'm
things.
telling you. I promise you
There's a
that
pattern.
some men
Yes.
it starts with you calling them first.
I'll
And
even
then
give you
after that,
I'll
they
even
don't
give you some
wanna-
further.
So let me hit you up
even
with this.
concede the fact
That's the
that
man.
you
that's
calling
been
a
trying to-
man first doesn't mean
One
anything to
person
her.
on my-
I promise you this. If a man is lazy, it's because he doesn't feel you're worth the effort.
Mm.
I will give you
Bingo.
that. I will
Bingo.
give you that.
And
But
I agree.
we're not giving women our phone number we don't want to talk to. That's
Bingo.
insane to think that we don't want you to call us
Nah,
first
I think they be
if we've
testing.
given you our phone number.
No,
That's
and
Look at
let
all
me
the
add
memes.
to that. And they just playing I feel really they just because let me speak for Isaac. If I give you my number, I'm looking for two things. The first one, either you reciprocate and give me your number. When you do, I'm going to text you immediately, say, hey, this is me. Okay, that's me. The second, if you don't give me your number back, that's cool. Call me at your leisure. But the moment you call or the moment that you text, I'm taking the lead. But I led by making it easier to just simply just offering my number.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
doesn't
simply
that,
led.
and I don't know for, I mean for the brothers, but for me that allows me to be chivalrous, and it also allows me to say I'm different from every other 100 dudes that's hitting you up on your DM trying to get at you. I'm telling you, I'm putting myself out there to say, hey, here's my number, and I'm waiting for you to say, okay, I'm gonna give him my number, or I'm gonna call him. And like Isaac said, if you respond in a positive way, then I'll go ahead and take the lead. But what's wrong with chivalry? Why we can't be chivalrous no more?
Chivalrous is you asking for my number.
What if everybody that deserves chivalry for one?
But what
that's
about
not a
how can I
default.
distinguish
Oh,
myself
dang.
from the other 100,000 dudes that's hitting you up on your DM that's asking you for your number?
The same way you just told the women, strike up a conversation.
I hit you up and say, hey, here's my number. Give me a call.
And
I would love to talk to you.
Okay, this is where we're at an impasse, and where I think in this one, the men just have to understand it makes the woman feel comfortable, and we can appreciate the fact that that's chivalry to y'all. We can appreciate that. We're not going to say it's not. We're just simply saying we really like to follow. We really like to reciprocate. We really like to respond. And we feel like we grew a big old pair and they're swinging down there, if we pick up the phone, we can't explain it. It just is. That's how we feel, and we don't want anything swinging down there. We want to be able to wear yoga pants and stuff, and that just looks weird.
But Yonci, that's why we even say we don't see everything at all times. It's nothing wrong with you saying, "What's up? How you doing? My name is such and such."
We never said it's wrong. We said we don't like it. We don't like it. So you want a woman who is
just like we got
good and feeling feminine and feeling. You don't want her to feel like, hey, Isaac.
Is there an assumption that we love to be turned down every time that we see somebody that we find attractive?
We assume you love to be turned down.
Yeah, and we say something.
Yeah, we assume that.
Yeah, that's
so exactly. So I often remind women is that you guys don't know what it takes for a man to build the courage up to even come to you to even say anything, just to be rejected.
Okay, I gotta call this out. Let's get really specific with the scenario. This is not a scenario in which he is passing by and randomly sees Manda and is like, "Hey, girl, call me." This is a situation in which they have been kikiing. She is demonstrating that she likes him. If she's anything good at what she's doing, she's giving him choosing signals. Oh, hey, Isaac. So glad to hear from you today. Oh, Isaac, I noticed you posted a new picture. Your picture is looking.
If she sound like that, you better run, Isaac.
Run for the hills.
And I have no problem calling you, Isaac, because I take the lead, right?
My hands might be bigger than yours.
Don't look so closely, Isaac. But she's giving you all these signals. And so now you guys have been talking for all this time.
Oh, no, not that kind of Atlanta. No, yeah. Listen, I wasn't being funny. I was talking about Yonci's deep voice in a woman. Sounded like she's from Atlanta.
Well, I'm from New Orleans, but I live in Atlanta. I got you. I understand.
Yeah. Oh my God. But that's the thing. If we're giving you all these choices, and it's the same thing in reverse. If you are in someone's DM and they're like, "How are you doing?" She's like, "Fine." Like, and even in person, she's not interested. If you're at a club, who's at a club this age? But let's just say you're at a club or an event and you're like, "Hey, it's hot in here, huh? Isn't it?" And she goes right back. That's a sign that she's not choosing you. Versus if you say, "Man, it's hot in here," she turns around, she's like, "Oh my God, I know. I'm just, whoo." So, and she's engaging and she's bringing the conversation further. Those are clues. I think we've gotten away from a lot of the social clues that say, "Hey, I'm interested back." So I wouldn't go back and forth with a guy for multiple iterations in the dating app. I'm not even talking to him at all, because you got to swipe, you got to match, like, to even get in there. So I always think you're cute because we both matched, not smashed. And now we're talking. And so I liked it when a guy would say, "Hey, what are you most comfortable with? Would you like to keep talking in here? Or are you comfortable, exchanging numbers?" I like that when a guy would just ask and say, "Yeah, I would love to exchange numbers." And then it just, anywho. All right. There are 2 minutes left. I'll see if we have time to get to this next question. Okay. She said, "Oh no, we are not going to cover this in 2 minutes."
Yes,
all right.
We can do it.
Okay. She said, "Oh my God, can you please ask the men why they try to shoot their shot on social media when their page is nothing but memes and photos of their sneakers? It's weird. And I don't understand it. I can't see any of you. I can't see you. The one picture that you do have on there looks like it's from 1997 and it's blurry. All you have are pictures of your food and like your niece. Like, I don't know what you look like, sir."
We don't take pictures. Women would expect men to take them serious when their page is just them half-ass naked the entire time.
Yeah.
We just don't take pictures like that.
We are not.
No, you don't have any picture. Like, y'all trying to join the
pictures like that.
And I have to scroll to 1997.
We take terrible pictures.
That's a problem.
Because we take ugly pictures. That's why.
We don't go at the angle.
I have to admit that I've gone places. Matter of fact, Willie and I was at an event together,
Y'all just
I
tell
wasn't even
everyone's business on blast.
Yeah.
No,
What
look
if
at it right.
Will didn't want people
I
to
mean,
know he
I mean,
had
sorry.
plans?
Well, Van in this time. We were at an event together.
Dang.
I wasn't even thinking about taking a picture until he said, Ike, let's take a picture before you leave. Am I right, dog?
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking about taking a picture, and both of us was dressed up. We were looking good. So, and I was like, Dad, I didn't even think about that. I've gone on vacations and not even taken one picture.
But y'all need to take a hint and go,
Y'all need
this
to-
is keeping
But-
you
but
from having
we
women
are-
respond.
Yeah, because
we
I
are.
ain't paying
Well,
you.
There
There
are
are
a lot of men who are
consequences
not
to every
self-absorbed.
I'm
like
sorry,
that.
Jay, what'd you say?
There are a lot of men who are not self-absorbed like that. We don't do the. You got to
Oh,
do
well.
it from the certain angle.
you
Oh,
Hold
can't
on,
be
Jay.
maybe
absorbed.
okay then. Let me
Hey, she
let
from
me
East
let me
Side?
redirect.
I
I
gotta call
apologize.
time
Hold
out,
on,
even though my alarm's
hold
going
on.
off.
Let me apologize. Let
You
me
went
not say
from one
self-absorbed.
extreme to the
Okay
other.
then. Okay then. We are not social butterflies,
But that's
such as
extreme.
some women.
Sir,
But
And
he's
there
here's the
no,
thing.
just
sir,
like I've
we're
been on
talking about a
dates.
single photograph.
Let me share. Like you say, let me share. There are times that I go out and I can see on other tables or I'm with someone and you have to take a picture of every meal that comes out.
But that's another
Every meal? I
that's
mean,
extreme.
it's lobster.
Jay,
You
that's an
done seen a
extreme.
lobster.
Sir, we gotta stay on topic. You're talking about extreme behavior
Okay,
in women,
okay.
and we're talking about non-existent photos. And
Okay.
other guys did this. They said, "Oh, just because we're not obsessing, no one's asking you to obsess." It's like somebody who says, "Can you call me? I don't have on all day." How do we go from
Okay.
A
All right. Well, I
no,
agree. I think you ought to at least if you're gonna be
at
on
least
social
one.
media and if you are gonna be on any sort of dating, what I've shared with a lot of guys is have one good picture of you smiling, one good picture of your entire body, and let them be recent pictures.
You're
That
talking
full
about
body
women or
Nobody
men?
wants to
both sides of
see. Nope. I get tired of seeing people with just their neck up, and I take that as you are ashamed of your body.
Mhm.
So I tell men and the women that I talk to, why you don't have one picture of your entire body?
You know
You
why?
got 20. You literally have
Really?
100
Don't go
pictures
here.
from the neck up, and you don't have none of your body.
You know why?
Really? Please.
Men or female alike, you know.
Oh no, the time ran out and it muted everybody. That's crazy.
Oh boy, that's crazy.
That's crazy. We don't have any more time on the.
God bless y'all heart. May the Lord smile upon each and every one of y'all. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm at work and I'm about to go home.
No, Willie, put your hands where I can see them. Put your hand.
I'm at
Put
work.
your hands where I can see them. Put your
Get
hands
in there,
where, if I can't click out of this before the money comes through. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. I thank you so much for coming out. Please join on Patreon, patreon.com/Yonci, if you would like to become. Thank you, everybody who came out and joined the. Willie could have pimped me out till like 2 in the morning.
No, man, I'm not gonna do that. I want to. Monte need him some time. He the cupcake with his lady.
You see, I got scared. Oh my God. Thank you so much, y'all. Feel free to bless me if you want via Zelle, via Patreon, via Cash App. I'm pretty much everywhere chasing Yonci. But tonight, I'm calling it quits. He said save Billy's favorite for next time. That's so cute. He could put it on the reserve. Y'all, did you enjoy this? Did you enjoy this conversation?
Yes.
If you
Hell
did.
no, I had a terrible time.
I know. I'm
Oh.
sorry. There was a gun up to his head just outside the camera frame. I'm
It
sorry.
really is. There's somebody standing right here with a gun to my head. But
Babe, you can walk away from him now. Okay. I am going to post a clip tomorrow. And all I ask is that you guys come in and let everybody know what fun you had so they can get a severe case of FOMO. And then the next week, we're going to have a lot of people on and we're going to have some new faces and have fun. Okay. So because the names go away when, for whatever reason, when we change the setup, Jessica, can you give some waves? Can everybody show Jessica some love? Comment Jessica in the comments if you enjoy what she had to contribute. Golf claps, golf claps. All right, we got Lynette in the house. Beautiful Lynette. You can go ahead and put your hands up, Lynette, so everybody can see who Lynette is. This is Lynette. Lynette, put your hands up. There we go. There's Lynette. I know we're doing a lot with it. Hands. Comment Lynette if you enjoyed her conversation. Lanette. Excuse me, y'all got me laughing. We got the lovely Miss Manda. Hey, put your hands up, Miss Manda. Comment Manda if you enjoyed her on the panel. Definitely have to have you back, darling. I like how you expressed yourself a lot. Lynette, you already know I'm obsessed with you, girl. She had my heart with our first Zoom call. And Jessica, I love that you were able to hold it down. We got Jay in the house. I love that he got, I almost said sassy, but that's disrespectful in this day and age. Let me find a different word. I love that you.
Hey, I'm secure with my masculinity.
Yes,
You can call me
okay.
sassy.
I love that he
I know who I am.
right at me. He said, your rules. And look, I couldn't say nothing. I said, you're right.
I'm good.
You're right. So I like that. Okay. He threw my rule back at me. That's my one rule. Be respectful, people. So give him some love in the comments. Comment J-A-Y if you enjoyed him on the panel. Hey. And then we got the guy who's trying to make me stay until the morning hours. We got Willie in the house. Willie, put your hands up. Don't shoot. Comment Willie if you enjoyed his contribution. And last but certainly not least, we got Isaac with the best background ever. Wave your hand, yes. Isaac, if anyone doesn't know who you are. All right, y'all. I will see you on Patreon. Thank you so much. And make sure you guys check out the Dallas event on the 18th. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll see you guys soon. Good night.
Night, guys.